Oh, hey bitch. Oh, excuse you. Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Wagwan Mayut. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And happy Tuesday and all that good stuff. So basically, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, Chris Avalon Unfiltered is a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news and hot topics, pop culture, all the good stuff. We talk about it on this show. We also talk movies, we talk music, we talk all of that. So if that's a show for you, definitely stick around because we got a lot of tea to spill today, including we got to talk about this Diddy trial. It's day 2. Cassie took the stand, so I got all the details regarding that. Plus, Jen went out here testifying because Kim Kardashian was over in Paris and was testifying in that trial where she was robbed, the Paris robbery. So we got that. Plus, she's facing some backlash because they released a trailer for that new Hulu series, All's Fair, where she is playing an attorney at an all-women's law firm. And the people is not mad. I mean, the people's mad about some things that they did with the trailer and how they placed her over a bunch of icons like Glenn Close and a bunch of other icons that's in the show. So we're going to talk about that, you know, with Naomi Watts, Niecy Nash-Betts is in it, and a bunch of others. Even Elizabeth Berkley is up in there. So it was like, we got to talk about that. Remember her from Showgirls? So yeah, we got that. Plus, Halle Berry is over at the Cannes Film Festival, and she's saying she doesn't know if James Bond should be a woman. And that she also told us about the Jinx spinoff that was supposed to come out eons ago, and if it would come out today. So we got to talk about that. Plus, it looked like we got some interesting news. America's Next Top Models getting themselves a docu-series over there on Netflix, and Tyra Banks will be participating. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Honey Boo Boo has a docu-series coming out, or not even docu-series, it's a biopic over on Netflix. And she said she didn't hold back and she worried about that. It may cause a rift between her and Mama June. So we got to talk about that. Plus, I got more details on the Tory Lane stabation that happened over at the prison. He was stabbed about 14 times. So we got to talk about that. We thought it was just in the face. But they tried to cut him up like a scene out of a damn horror movie. So we got to talk about that. Plus, we got to talk about Blue Ivy, that apparently they're saying, like, because of the way she's been performing at the Cowboy Carter tour, that her parents might be grooming her to take over the throne, and that way she might be, you know, the next in line to be the new pop diva and all that stuff. So we got to talk about that. And LGBTQ plus people, it seems like it's not a good time for the queer folk because they're talking about people's safety, as in queer people's safety, has plummeted across social media platforms. Because, you know, especially since a certain moron took the White House, you know, took over and is now the 47th president, there seems to be a lot of the things that were put in place to protect queer people from being discriminated against or harassed on social media have been taken away, and now there seems to be a lot more discrimination going on in regards to social media. So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. So before we get to those topics, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and also smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll also be putting timestamps in the show so that way when the live stream is done and those who come in to watch the playback, you can actually skip right to whatever topic that tickles your fancy instead of sitting through all the banter that we do through the show. All right. So now let me hit my banner. I see we got some comments. I'll get to those right after our first topic, which is this Diddy situation. So let's get into it. So yesterday I talked a little bit about the what was it? One of the guys who went and testified said that there was a little urination situation that went on and how he peed in her mouth and all that other stuff. So yeah, the male escort gave graphic details on the testimony that went down. I have some more details on that. I'll get, and there was a lot of people who actually showed up yesterday. I heard there was a lot of YouTubers. Tisa Tells was there. I told y'all Mims was there because I saw that on YouTube where he posted a little video that he was standing outside the courthouse trying to get in. He was there. Armand Wiggins was there. So all the big YouTubers were there. My ass was home. I was like, and I live in New York. I was like, anyway, in hell, I'm taking my behind down to some damn courthouse at some 2 in the morning and standing out there so I can get inside of somewhere and be bored out of my damn mind when all of the, the big major trades consider give all the details and I could just put my little seasoning on it and call it a day, because I could go and read what had happened and I get my little commentary as I've been doing and make that way more entertaining than be like, oh yeah, I was here first. I mean, look, if y'all want to do that, that's on y'all. I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying that y'all doing the thing. Don't be bitching that, oh my God, I'm so tired and I ain't gonna do this. And it's like, look, y'all the one that decided to get on that plane and come all the way to New York City just so y'all could be of the moment. So you want your moment? Have it. Now, in regards to all of that, one of the other people who actually was at the court was none other than Sunny Hostin. And I'm going to get into what her experience was in a second. But first, I want to give you a little more detail on the situation that happened with the man that testified yesterday. So, a male escort revealed creepy new details about six sessions he had with the diddler and the rapper's girlfriend, including how Diddy ordered him to use more baby oil. He just what's up with baby oil? Like, I guess even though Diddy be looking mad ashy in his own downtime, quiet as it's kept, he really liked the baby oil when it come down to hunching. So I was like, let me pull that picture up so that way I can have that up while we talk. Now, he said, y'all, quote, y'all need to rub more baby oil on each other. You don't have enough on. This is what he allegedly told then gal pal Cassie Ventura, 38, as she had relations with the escort by the name of Daniel Phillip, while the hip-hop mogul pleasured himself in the corner. They said he would just tell us to put more on. And then there was also something that said that Diddy had a bandana over his face and had like a little robe on, and he was hiding, he was in the corner. I'm in the corner watching you fuck her. Oh, I had to remix the song. It said, Philip said he would be paid up to $6,000 a pop for his sex sessions, which went on for a few years that could last as long as 10 hours everywhere from Manhattan's posh Gramercy Park Hotel to the Jumeirah Essex house, as well as the Diddler and Ventura City pads. He also said that he had that at least two turned very dark, with him witnessing the Diddler putting paws on Cassie. He told the jury he never went to the police over his concerns for Ventura's safety, even though he believed she was in real danger, because he was scared of the hip-hop star who took a photo of his driver's license as a threat, saying, quote, this was someone with unlimited power, and chances are that even if I did go to the police, that I still might be losing my life. And this is what I've said, like, people don't realize how far the reach goes when you have a lot of money, when you have a lot of power, when you have a lot of resources, and when you offering people stacks of money, which I heard is what happened with the security guard, who I believe now is a police officer. There was another guy that testified as well that had the video footage that we all saw that they've been playing repeatedly during the trial yesterday. I don't know if they played it today. I'm gonna have to go through my notes and stuff to see like if it was also played, but I'm sure it did. But especially if Cassie took the stand today. But excuse me. But but I'm sure like when it came down to the video and all this other stuff, what they said, it was the guy that had the tape that Diddy went and bought off of because, the footage and all the stuff. The guy said that he actually recorded the footage on his phone and sent it to his wife and his friends because he did not think that they would believe him based off of what he was going to tell them. And I could totally understand that because, in my line of work where I work in live entertainment, I don't want to snitch, but I know there are people that take pictures and all other stuff with celebrities, but you got to finagle your way around not being spotted so that way you don't lose your job. But me, I don't mess with the celebrities. If I see them, hey, how you doing? Help them out, whatever they need, and that's that. But y'all just going to take my word for it because I'm like, I'm not risking something, a job that I actually love doing because I'm going to have a bunch of people not believing that I work that my line of work is I interact and deal with a lot of celebrities on a daily basis. So I ain't doing all that. So y'all just going to have to take my word for it. But I can totally understand why he did what he did. And I believe that also the police had the footage that they got from the guy's phone. But I'm like, yeah, you were sending that to every damn body. But I'm surprised the tabloids, we didn't hear about it from, like, if you recorded that footage and you sent it to your friends, I'm surprised that your friends didn't, like, send it to TMZ or something like that. That's that shocked me. Now, getting back to this, they said during the trio's first encounter in 2012 at the Gramercy, Combs, the founder of Bad Boy Records, sat in the corner of the hotel room in a white robe, baseball cap, and bandana over his bottom half of his face as his girlfriend and Phillips had relations. Now, Combs told Phillips he worked in the import-export business. During the encounter, the escort said, chill. You working in import-export, but now if that's the case, wouldn't that kind of be code? Is that code for like, because they're not, even though they're bringing up the abuse and all other stuff with this case, the reason why Diddy is on trial is for sex trafficking. So if you say import export, what does that mean? That you importing and exporting bodies from one place to another? Because it doesn't just mean that you can bring people from, like, say, Colombia to the United States and put them back on a plane when you done running through them for like 4 days. You can actually export people across state lines as well. It happens all the time, which is why I don't know if people realize this. America is the #1 sex trafficking, situation in the world. We wasn't there at one point, but now we are. And I'm sure with the current president in the White House, who was good Judy's with Jeffrey Epstein, I'm sure that's really going bananas in that situation. We're not talking about that because we got so many other things that we're dealing with this administration and all the different executive orders and things that they're doing with that. But getting back to this, he also said, Phillips said that when Combs spoke, he instantly recognized him as a prolific music producer. That's why I said you have a distinct voice. People are going to know who the hell you are. The escort also told the jury that Ventura handed him a few $1,000s to rub baby oil on her and give her a massage before the two had relations while Combs played with Lil Diddy. So they also said she told me that first off, I didn't have to worry about anything because her husband wasn't a homosexual and that he wasn't going to touch me or anything. Recalls Philip, who at first thought he was hired for a bachelorette party. And that was recommended by his boss, was saying that, yeah, I need you to go down to this hotel, whatever the case, but didn't give him no details. He just went down there and he thought, and that's why they said that he thought that he was hired for a bachelorette party. Everybody else was busy, but he was the only one that was sent down there. And so he shows up at the hotel and Cassie is the one that opens up the door because she rearranged the whole situation. And then what had happened. So then he also said there were bottles of baby oil and Astroglide, which was a lubricant. As the escort and Ventura began having relations, Combs was sitting in the corner, as I stated, playing with Lil Diddy. And this is what Philip said. And funny enough, all his children was in that damn audience, including Delilah and what's her name, the other one, the twins. And I heard that they were so appalled or gagged or shocked by the things that their father was doing that they left the courtroom. But I'm like, what they thought they was coming up in the watch Sesame Street? Like, yeah, your father is a deviant. He's an abhorrent human being. He's disgusting. He's a sociopath. He's abusive. Maybe he wasn't showing all that to y'all. But so what y'all thought y'all was gonna come in there and watch Romper Room? Y'all thought y'all was gonna see Mr. Rogers, even though your daddy was dressed like Mr. Rogers being up in there. You thought that's what y'all was getting? Like, no, you was gonna hear some details that would have made you uncomfortable. And seeing the side of your father that I don't think anybody would want to know that side of them. Child, I don't know what I would do if I would have found out like that was a side of a parent that I have. And it was funny how everybody would say, oh, it was good, y'all being strong and y'all keep your head up. And I said, yeah, it's great that they would be able to do that. It's not their fault they were born into a world from a man who's just a deplorable human being. But the way he's been treating people and what he's done to people for over 3 decades, he deserved to be buried under the damn jail. And he better be lucky he didn't unalive somebody, because I feel like it would have gotten to, if he was still been out here to be able to commit the behavior that he was doing, and if Cassie didn't remove herself from that man, I do believe that she would not be alive today to tell her story, which we're going to get to in a minute, but I just want to give you all the rest of this. They also said that Combs was, flogging the bishop as Philip gave a golden shower to Ventura, but they also had to tell him like how to do it. Like, you can't sit up here and do like the scene out of Flashdance where it just comes splashing down. Like, you got to really like do a little spritz every day. No, spritz, hold it back, spritz, hold it back. So I guess you got to have like some good kidneys and things of that nature to be, or a good bladder, not only to be able to hold water, but excuse me, be able to like stop the faucet from running when need be, because it was like it was a specific way of doing it. Because it's like, some people just like, okay, I'm gonna just get in there and I just put the funnel in my mouth and just go to town. Like, you really just release the beast and go into the bathroom in the urinal. It's like, no, there was a technique, I guess, that they had when it came down to doing it. First of all, y'all up in these upscale hotels doing all of this, I would be pissed off if I was the housekeeper that had to come up here and clean all that mess. that y'all was up in there doing. So I hope y'all had some kind of special sheets. Because when it come down to the water, shout out to all my homosexual friends that get down with the water sports. There are special sheets and things that they have invented where it's like, if y'all are into that, y'all don't go and mess up the hotel room sheet. So I hope y'all wasn't sitting there going to town on the actual hotel room sheets. Because like I said, if I was the housekeeper and I had to come up in that room and touch all of that mess that y'all was leaving up in there, I'd have been tight. So shout out to all the housekeepers that be out here having to deal with what y'all got to deal with. The ones that work at the Gramercy Hotel, the one that work down at the Hilton, and the ones that work at the Motel 6. Because I know it's like y'all really be going down when it come down to the cheap hotels or the motels. But they also said that Philip said the code word he gave to hotel management to get up to Combs' room was black. The escort also said that he got paid thousands of dollars for the stints and sometimes nothing if he couldn't perform up to Combs' lights. Oh no, you're gonna break me off a little something, something. He also said that he couldn't always, stand at attention. With the first time happening at Ventura's home when he saw Combs put paws on her. The escort said that Ventura was on the computer saying she wanted to get personal information off it, and that when Combs ordered her to instead come to him in her bedroom, she didn't run fast enough. Mr. Combs came out of the room, and I just saw a bottle fly past her and hit the wall. It looked like a liquor bottle. Mr. Combs, walked over to Cassie. He grabbed her by the hair, started dragging her by the hair into the bedroom. She was yelling. She was screaming. Mr. Combs pulled her into the bedroom, and I could hear what sounded like him slapping her. Ventura was saying, I'm sorry. This is what Philip said. He also I asked her why she stayed with this guy if he's hitting her and beating her like this. I tried to explain to her that she was in real danger, and she basically tried to convince me that it's okay, I'm okay. And there was also another situation I forgot to bring up too. Apparently, the diddler is into felching. Because, and if y'all know what that is, child, then you need to get you a little homosexual friend I'll just tell you. So basically, he liked when these men would raw dog up in her and they had to finish up in her. So when they were done, he would take them into the room, and with the gays, when y'all do the raw dogging, what they like to do is they like to take the nectar that's been deposited and wanted to suck it out. So that's basically what he was into. Child, I ain't gonna be able to monetize this damn episode. I'm like, you nasty. But anyway, I'm like, okay, well, and then he also said that he always had to show his STI. He had to always show his STI results, but he never got to see hers. And I don't think that was no fault of hers. It was literally Diddy controlling the situation and basically using Cassie as his prostitute. She was his whore. She wasn't even his girlfriend. In her mind, she looked at it as like, I love this man and I'll do anything for him, which I'm going to get into all the details of that in a second. But for him, he was just like, I'm just going to use this girl up because she's my prized possession. I just really would love to spend 5 minutes in his brain and just want to understand why he is the way he is. I blame Janice and them old dingy ass wigs that bitch be wearing. But anyway, moving right along. Well, actually, I'm a press pause on that. So because I'm going to have to break this up. There's so many stuff up in here. So that's the latest on that. So now, let's get into the Sunny Hostin tea, where she basically went down to the courthouse as she stated. Where's that? Hold on, let me pull that picture up. Yeah, there we are. Because I almost forgot how to do my own show. Okay, so she went down to the courthouse yesterday. She was on The View today to talk about what had happened when she went down to the courthouse. So during Hot Topics on Tuesday, it basically says, well, shout out to Entertainment Weekly for this. So they say, after sitting in on Donald Trump's hush money trial throughout May 2024, The View co-host, foreign federal prosecutor and legal expert, Sunny Hostin, is back on the case, this time revealing what she witnessed via rapper Sean Combs' ongoing trafficking trial. The 56-year-old lawyer, and damn, y'all had to put her age out there, and media personality recounted Tuesday watching Combs' New York City trial unfold in person, where she says she observed notable changes to the 55-year-old recording artist's physical appearance as she and his legal team weather charges excuse me, as he and his legal team weather charges of racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Saying, quote, Sean Combs is not the person that we used to see out there, Hostin said at the top of the show's Hot Topics discussion about the trial, which also included Combs' former partner, singer Cassie Ventura, taking the stand after video circulated of Combs assaulting her inside a hotel, which Combs called inexcusable after the clip which was first publicized last year. I should also point out that yesterday during the trial, they played that clip so many damn times. They stopped it, they rewinded it, they played it back to certain parts. Then it was at a point when Diddy's legal team tried to go in on one of the witnesses and was saying like, you saying that you didn't take no money and all this other stuff. And when they were trying to be like a got moment, there was a cross-examination. And then the other lawyer, the white lady, the lawyer came out and basically was like, let's play the tape again because y'all need to be reminded. So after all this stuff, when you saying that Cassie could have just left anytime she wanted to, and she could have gone freely, we do remember seeing that video footage of her literally trying to leave the hotel room with nothing but the clothes on her back. She didn't have shoes on. All she had on was, she left with all what she had. That motherfather, what they tried to say, he wasn't in a bath towel, because they tried to go against saying, he wasn't bath towel. He was supposed to be checking out at a certain time, and I think it was a short amount of time before he had to check out, and he was supposed to be dressed and ready to go. So then she was like, okay, so let's play that video again, and showed him in the towel. So at what point, when it was supposed to be about that time, you supposed to be checking out, was he fully dressed? So it's like they had to constantly remind people that, yeah, if she was able to just leave freely, then why wasn't she able to just leave freely? Because if that was the case, then there would have been no need for him to run down a damn hallway in them little, how you doing socks that he had on, them little rainbow socks, and a damn bath towel with the dad bod. Because he looked like he was about 9 months pregnant when he was trying to chase her down that damn hallway. So she went on to say, quote, Sean Combs is not the person that we used to see out there. She also continued telling the View audience that Combs looks very much like a defeated mogul, and that he's all gray because you can't have hair dye in federal prison. Girl, I mean, it's a fact. And that's what it goes to show that, you know what, we wasn't even thinking about the fact that, you know what, maybe Diddy was dyeing his hair. I wasn't thinking about that at the time, but it's like, yeah, when you down there in your mid-50s or whatever the case is, it's like, yeah, at a certain point, your hair will go full gray. And especially when you have the type of job that you have with all the stress and all the other stuff. Well, these days, the way that Cassie was recounting stuff, was he even working at all? Because they spend more time going on freakos for days on end. At what time did he have time to produce music? Or to do anything with his business, the Ciroc and all that stuff? Or did he have other people in place that was doing the job while he was trying to get that dick up because of all them damn drugs? You know, when you get whiskey dick, if you drink too much of that brown liquor, your penis can't get hard. Well, with all them drugs and stuff he was doing, you damn sure know that he had to use some enhancements. She also went on to say he looks like he dressed like Mr. Rogers. He got sort of a gray sweater. He's walking feebly. That means like you're a little weak. That could be a defense tactic. I do think it was, because I was going to say that before she even said it. I said, I feel like this is all an act. They tell him not to try to come across something. They think by having him with the gray and all the other stuff, and make him look old or whatever the case is, that, he couldn't possibly be able to do that. But prior to, he had all the energy and all the smoke. Remember, he had access to getting the IV fluid. So if you have the energy to spend days in a drunken, drugged out stupor, having sex for days on end, then don't believe the BS you see in front of you. He's trying to play y'all. Don't fall for it. I've been seeing through Diddy shit for over 30 years. So we'll see how this all play out. So she also recalled that there was a lot of interaction between Combs and his team, calling him very engaged in the case, to the point where he was writing down notes on orange stickies, passing it to his attorneys. They would not close their examination of witnesses until he said he was okay. Now, fellow co-host Alyssa Farrah-Griffin then brought up the 2016 video of Combs assaulting Ventura, which prompted a response from moderator Whoopi Goldberg when Hostin confirmed that they showed that video yesterday multiple times. She said, I like for them to stop showing the video on television. It's like, we know. And I do agree with that, because it's like, the problem is with the media, they keep showing the thing over and over and over and over and over again. And that's why I was saying, like, when they were picking out the jurors, how are you going to differentiate or try to find people that aren't really familiar with the case. Because I'm sure everybody, people who don't even listen to Diddy's music or even know anything about him, they can put me on that trial. I know too damn much. But especially with the 200 some odd times I've been covering this before we got to the damn actual trial. How you gonna find somebody? And the one thing I liked about Sunny, she said, no, you want to find people that have a little bit of idea. You don't want to pick somebody that has like no clue, lives under a rock, whatever, to be on the case. Because what it is that, yeah, you want to bring them in and they make them watch a video. So it's like you don't have no kind of unconscious bias and things of that nature. You can come in with a able mind, you stand firm and strong in your belief, and you just listen to the facts and come to the conclusion that way, instead of, oh, I'm just gonna, do the confirmation bias or whatever the case is, and really just discriminate because based off of maybe you got deep-rooted racial issues or whatever the case is. But if you're coming in as a damn groupie, yeah, I'm not going to put you as part of the jury, as some of them, as we saw when they were assimilating this, the legal Avengers. When they were assimilating these people, we saw like, okay, some of y'all need to be chopped. But I feel like they got a good, strong amount of people that are going to vote the right way. Fingers crossed. So they also said they would not close their examination of witnesses until he said he was okay. Now, Hostin then said that she leave the View studio in Manhattan shortly after the telecast ended so she could sit in and witness some of Ventura's words during the trial. So now, since she wanted to come and witness something, I don't know if she got there on time, because I think that the trial started around 10 something. So by the time they were on air discussing hot topics, I do believe that she might have missed a lot of it, but I'm sure she caught the end, because I think like by around when they came back from lunch around 12:45, 12:50, that was enough time for Sunny to get her behind over there and sit in on the rest of the case that she could bring to everybody else. So now, speaking of Miss Cassandra Ventura, let's get into her, because she finally took the stand. Funny enough, I didn't even know that she was planning on taking the stand today. I thought it was going to be like later on in the week, but I think it's supposed to stretch out for the next couple of days. So, excuse me. Cassandra Ventura stepped out on Tuesday morning looking somber ahead of her long-awaited court appearance in her ex Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial. So she testified against him this morning, wiping away tears with a tissue as she described the physical abuse and daily psychological abuse she suffered at the hands of the diddler throughout their 11-year relationship. Ventura, wearing a burgundy long-sleeve top, was soft-spoken and visibly pregnant. Yeah, she's big and pregnant. I've shown you on the picture. I actually think I have a picture of her coming out of, she's coming out of her, I believe, her apartment. And funnily enough, they were saying that they didn't even want her husband there. But he was in a word on the street was Alex Fine was in the courtroom yesterday. So a little too late for that. Maybe somebody didn't tip y'all off and let you know. But a word on the curb was he was there. So yeah, so now Ventura, wearing a burgundy long sleeve top, was soft-spoken and visibly pregnant, at times pressing down on her stomach and taking deep breaths. At least once she paused to compose herself during questioning and said, "I'm sorry." Ventura's presence in the Manhattan courtroom marks the first time she and the diddler have been in the same room since 2018, where they attended the funeral of Combs' longtime ex-partner, Kim Porter, who, if y'all heard yesterday, I'll be sure thinking that he had something to do with her death. Now, before she took the stand, the diddler's lawyers asked the judge to ban Cassie's husband, Alex Fine, from the courtroom while she testifies, because they may want to call him as a witness later in the trial. The diddler's lawyers have told the judge that they wanted Cassie's husband to not be in the courtroom, and the defense is claiming that he has relevant information regarding an alleged R-word of Cassie by Diddy in the fall of 2018. Because I believe he was an employer of Diddy at the time when he met Cassie. I believe he was a personal trainer or something or another. Diddy's attorney also said that Fine sent Diddy a text message saying he wanted to beat the F word out of him. They added that they are okay with Cassie's brother to remain in the room while he testifies. Prosecutors argue that Fine is part of an emotional support system for Cassie, who's pregnant with their third child and should be in the courtroom when she testifies. A judge ruled that her husband can be in the courtroom for most, but not all of her testimony. So they'll know when they feel like if it's going to get a little graphic, that they will, move her out of the room. But she looks good here. I like the hair. She's big and pregnant. I love the brown. Like that's a good mutual. Yeah, and this is what he's been doing a lot because apparently he's supposed to be loved, but he's been given everything but that. So he needed to kind of like take his way. The minute he started calling himself love, I already rolled my eyes so damn hard. I'm surprised my eyes didn't get stuck in my damn head. So now Ventura began her testimony, which is expected to last several days, by describing the origins of her relationship with the diddler. They met when she was 19 years old, when she was a model and singer in New York, and he was 38 years old at the time, and he wound up giving her a 10-album deal on his label. Bad Boy Records. Now, she only released one damn album. So Ventura described herself as naive at the time, saying that she was drawn to the diddler because he was entertaining, fun, and larger than life. Also, he happened to have my career in his hands. In 2007, Ventura celebrated her 21st birthday with Combs and some friends in Vegas, where Combs kissed her in a bathroom. She said it left her confused, but she still enjoyed spending time with him. Soon their relationship turned sexual, with Combs introducing her to oral sex. She said, I was just so young. I didn't even have the vocabulary for some of the things we talked about. She said, I was sexually inexperienced. Well, of course you were. You were 21 years old. He was pushing 40. So you already know he's been around the world and he's probably been in a bunch of women. So he's had a lot of experience. And when you somebody who's damn near 20 years older, just about, like, of course he's going to know more. But it feels like, I guess we would call it grooming. But this is what the new generation's calling it. Not long after, on a trip to Miami, Combs and Ventura began having intercourse. When she was 22, he introduced her to what he called freak-offs, which could be days-long drug-fueled sexual experiences at hotels where Combs watched and played with Lil Diddy as Ventura had sex with male escorts. When Combs first proposed the idea to Ventura, saying that he liked the voyeurism of it, she felt nervous and confused. She didn't understand why it was a turnoff, but she loved Diddy and wanted to make him happy. Eventually, Combs instructed Ventura to organize the freak-offs, which involved hiring a male escort and setting up a hotel room for the three of them. They would occur as often as weekly and last days at a time, with Ventura saying the longest one she remembers was 4 days. She was given drugs so she could perform for Combs for hours on end, and afterwards she would rest for days due to sleep deprivation and dehydration. The freak-offs became a job where there was no space for her to do anything else but recover and feel normal again. And also, I believe she said that this also interfered with her working on her music, which I think was a point of his anyway. I believe he locked her in that 10-album deal because there was never any intention for her to even be an artist. I believe that was his way of controlling and locking her down and having her so doped up on drugs, which is literally like, have you ever watched some like of movies where they show you girls that get sex trafficked? They break them in, they drug them up, they have them run through and on so many other ways. So I feel like in so many ways, that's where the sex trafficking angle is coming with in this situation, because their relationship mimics a lot of where where it's like he's groomed her, and he's basically groomed her as his personal prostitute. That's basically what it feels like to me. And where she's thinking, oh, I love him and this is my man and I'm doing this because I want to make him happy. He's got her brainwashed to thinking that that's what this is, when he's got other ulterior motives. Like he's basically using you like you are. Like you're literally his plaything that he gets off on watching other men go run through his girlfriend. So Ventura said that she didn't want to have sex with strangers for Combs' enjoyment, but I didn't feel like I had much of a choice. I didn't know what no could be or what no could turn into. As Combs often videotaped his encounters, Ventura feared that he could blackmail her by releasing the footage online. So, revenge P. Now, at one point in their relationship, Ventura said that she began to experience a different side of Combs, which was his abusive side. Arguments would turn violent, and Combs would knock me over, drag me, kick me, stomp me in the head if I was down. And when asked by the prosecution how frequently Combs would get physical with her, Ventura sighed and said, too frequently. These violent fights resulted in injuries like bruises, black eyes, and knots on Ventura's forehead, yet there was still love there. Well, girl, you thinking that was love. That wasn't what that was, but I'm sure you came around to that now. Okay, I'm tired of This why he look like a busted Bill Cosby. But anyway, I was like, I didn't take a picture. I'm gonna put it on Cassie husband. So now Sheldon described suffering a daily psychological abuse with dating Combs, saying he wanted control over every aspect of her life and career. She said he made her turn down professional opportunities while holding her music career hostage, and he often dictated her appearance and behavior, saying things like "fix your face" and "watch your mouth." Combs would incessantly call and text Ventura, and he had his security guards constantly keep an eye on her. When she lived in New York and later LA, he paid for her rent and would show up at her residences unannounced via his own set of keys. She insisted upon paying for her own house in Studio City because she wanted freedom, saying, "I wasn't getting it in a lot of ways." Now, they also, let me see, wanted to know why she decided to participate in the freak offs. And then when the prosecutor questioned her about the freak offs, she said she was barely 22 when he asked her to do them. And she reiterated that the reason why she did it was because of out of fear of violence. And then also they asked her, um, you know, like, did he pretty much, they weren't mutually exclusive. I guess she wanted to be exclusive with him, but he had many women, according to her, because she said, quote, "I'm Puff Daddy and Puff Daddy has many women." So she said, "I was insanely jealous, but also super young, didn't get it at all." And this is what she was saying of being non-monogamous with the mogul, saying, "I didn't get that he was him. As he would say, I'm Puff Daddy, and Puff Daddy has many women." Cassie added that of Diddy, he likes the company of women. I had to learn that over time. She said that as time passed, she came to believe more often than not that they were in a monogamous relationship. He expected that of me, so I assumed it was the same. So no, he's saying I could do what I want. I can sleep with as many women as I want to sleep with. Hence why wasn't I think one of the women that was in the courtroom today, he had many of his baby mamas in that damn courtroom. I believe there was, I forget one of them, the girl's name, but apparently she had a baby simultaneously around the time that I believe Kim Porter was pregnant with his twins. And then the little Ling Ling bitch was up in there today too, sitting up in there. Yesterday she was up there boo-hooing and crying. It's like, okay, girl, you acting like you had a damn fume and you lost your man. Relax. Because I don't even think he's seeing for your ass either. He just put a baby up in you. So it's like these girls all up in here trying to show solidarity when it's like your man is a bum. So now Cassie told the court the freak over last days on end, and she had to stay awake, you know, throughout them, saying that they lasted anywhere from 33 to 72 hours. And then they resumed, they took a lunch break around 12:29, around 1:07, they came back. And they said the singers used the rapper's birth name, Sean, as she spoke about their relationship. Diddy passed notes to his attorneys and whispered to them. Shown still images from the now infamous 2016 security camera footage of Combs beating her at the LA hotel. Cassie said prior to the altercation, we were having an encounter called the freak off, and I was leaving there. She said participating in the freak offs began taking much of her time and energy, and her career stalled. So then when they came back from lunch, because I thought that's what it was 1:27 actually they came back. Now Judge Summeranian asked Cassie if the temperature in the room was okay, and she went back on the stand following the lunch break. Prosecutors asked about Diddy's instructions for her appearance. Cassie claimed Diddy once told her she looked too Mexican with her hair like that. Well, I don't know what that means. How did her hair look for him to say that she looked a little too Mexican? I think she's part Mexican. Like, when you get mad at, like, you the one that got with her. If you don't have a problem with Mexicans, then don't fuck them. The mogul allegedly demanded her nails be painted white with French tips. That's something I believe that stems from Miss Janice, because wasn't her nails white too? The rapper also allegedly told her to work out to prepare for the freak offs. Now, she also named the entourage that Diddy would use to help control her. Now, during the testimony, she mentioned several of the Diddler's employees and allies, including his trusted assistants, Christina Courtney and Neil Dominic. Cassie also named Diddy's security guard, R. Rock, and said that they used to take away her things as punishment on the mogul's direction. She also mentioned other security guards for Diddy, including Roger Bonds, Uncle Paulie, Fahim, and Malik. And then, so that's all I have right now. I'm sure that more will break out as the week progresses because, her testimony will continue throughout the week and she will be cross examined by Combs' attorneys. They also said that, as we already got into, two other witnesses testified against the diddler. One was a security guard who witnessed Combs allegedly assaulting Ventura at a hotel in 2016. The other, a male escort, was paid on several occasions over 2 years to have relations with Ventura as Combs watched. And so we already got into the details about Daniel Phillip and all that good stuff. So, yep, that's all we have for now. And I know this was a long one, child, because it was a lot that we had to get into. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? I was not thinking I was going to be on here for like 30 minutes. But then again, it's like, it's so much details. It's so much to break down with this story. I'm not surprised that this clip is going to be a long one. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What else did y'all hear from the case? Are y'all gagging over some of the details? So whatever y'all thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. I think also that I forgot to mention that I think Sonny was like, she was shocked that he didn't take a plea deal, that it's not guilty or whatever. I said, Diddy, come on now. Like, you really think this is 30 years ago when you was able to just slither through the cracks with all the little things that you was doing? Like, sir, you guilty as hell. I don't think you're getting out of this one. I truly do not believe that you are. Yeah, that is one of the topics. Mm-hmm. Hello, hello, hello. I said, can we get a silicone remix? Somebody tried to come for me on Twitter. I had to cuss their ass out because they sit up there and say, how dare I sit up here and write about Lexi Love and post a link to it where she's in rehab when it's not true. I'm like, are you dumb? Because first of all the trades reported it. Her manager wrote it and she wrote it. I was like, go eat a bag of dicks. And I blocked their ass. Surprising how Sonny doubted the prosecution's ability to prove their case. Surprising how Sonny doubted look. So sometimes I be looking at Sonny and be thinking she a little slow. It's an import and export or code for top of bottom. Okay. How was Diddy already in court and the other predator? Child. Okay. And that's why I said, oh no, I think we talked about it yesterday that there was an update that, yeah, they extended it again. He's got a 10th extension. So yeah, we won't find out until I don't even know anymore. I can't even keep up because they were so behind on when they were supposed to reveal the next delay. So it's probably the end of this month. But yeah, I don't understand why this man keeps getting extensions. I really don't. It just doesn't make sense to me. We got a date on Luigi Mangione going to start his case. Diddy's already started his trial, and now this heifer continues to get extensions. I mean, he got dirt on somebody or something. Let me get a patent and okay. Because Diddy trial is big, it has a lot more people involved. That's why it's funny. Like people say, "Oh, nobody's talking about the Kim Kardashian trial over in Paris," and I'm like, "Because this trial, no shade is it is shade. It's more important." But I mean, I'm gonna talk about it because that's the next topic. They're gonna have a lot of witnesses. But then they say it's supposed to go on for 2 weeks. Oh please! Oh, you know they do. Not the nectar, okay? It said that video is pretty scary when you think about it. An unhinged millionaire chasing you down that even the authorities will support before they help you. Of course, because it's all about let me give you a stack of money and then make your troubles go away. It's like, OMG, this sounds like a cult. You was in a cult with all the grooming of these young people. One of the leaders throwing that heart sign all the time. Well, that probably was what he learned it from. Yeah, well, yeah, they drew her. I mean, she looked like she about to be due any day now. I don't know how pregnant she is, but yeah, she's very pregnant. Look, you're the second person that was talking about some damn Janet and her icon award because Robert was like, "We need to talk about this on the show." What he said, because let me quote. Yeah, I'm about to be messy. Not me opening up my phone and all of a sudden I seen a boy taking a dildo up his butt. It's like, girl, why do I have to open my stuff and see that? Oh, wait, was it there? My God, my freaking allergies is killing me. Yeah, he said When you do your show, can you discuss? It's cute. Janet is getting another icon award, but we're gonna address how Madonna got all these accolades a little too early. In my opinion, she got these accolades during her prime, where Janet is getting them as an apology for participating in the mainstream media erasure of a. Ooh, you shady? Yeah, I'm being messy. Um, I'm getting tired of Madonna constantly being overlooked because she refused to be a legacy act. I don't think Madonna's getting overlooked. I don't think Madonna cares less. I mean, I think Madonna can care less. I mean, it's cute that Jen is getting the icon award, but here's what I don't understand. Why is she get? I just don't see the overall point of Janet Jackson getting the icon award. Like, no shade, but let me take one of her titles of her song. What has she done lately for her to even warrant uh an icon award? Like, we know Janet's an icon. She's been around since like the 80s. So with her success with everything, I don't see like what has she been doing that are they gonna say like because she's had like this successful residency or whatever the case is? Like nobody's really talking about Janet with this tour. They're talking about Beyonce, we're talking about Katy Perry and how messy that tour is. They were talking about Kylie Minogue, they were talking about, all these other girls, but Janet is not even mentioned in the zeitgeist. So I feel like maybe what I think is this icon award at the American Music Awards, maybe it's just y'all want ratings or something or another. So y'all want the janitors or whatever you call the Janet fans um to show up and watch the show. Because quiet as it's kept, I saw that commercial for the American Music Award. I think because it's gonna be on Paramount Plus, I believe, right? So yeah, oh yeah, it is gonna be. That's why I saw it because when I was watching RuPaul's Drag Race, I got around to watching Untucked yesterday, and they showed a commercial, and I get like, I don't even know. I pay to not get commercials, but they still show commercials. Make that make sense? Like, why am I paying the money to not have a commercial? You still put a damn ad in. I don't like that. So with that gripe aside, they show the commercial, and I'm sitting there like, none of these people, I don't care about Post Malone and Benson Boone and Taylor Swift. It's the same people y'all give nominations to every year. Like, I don't care. But I mean, I'm gonna watch because Jennifer Lopez is hosting. And I'll just, all the boring parts I'll just fast forward through like I usually do. And that's a good thing about streaming service. I can just fast forward through the mess. Oh, I'd like save me some. I like chicken pasta. Well, I got some food anyway. I got chicken and some rice and beans I'm gonna eat after I'm done with this show. Sometimes I want to cuss that man. Genocide me vote. I bet that's another thing I've been saying too. Quiet as it's kept. Janet Jackson's still doing the same 1-2 step. Ain't really evolve her sound, which is fine. But it's like when you don't like every time she does a tour, I already know what she's gonna give because she gives the same damn show. It's so formulaic, and it just seems like nobody's. And I hear people say, "Yeah, she still got it." Yeah, she's like pushing damn near 60 and still dancing. Nobody's judging that. Yeah, we can see she still gets up there and gives choreography, but give us something else. Even Lady Gaga at one point gagging everybody now with this mayhem ball that she's been doing, and it's like this is something we have never seen her do in regards to show. She's challenging herself. You ain't ever got to worry about Madonna giving you the same damn show every time she gets out there and does her world tours. But Janet Jackson, I already know what I'm gonna get with her. So, which is why I won't go see her in concert. Because it's like, girl, I've seen this already. It was like, you're forgetting I'm the biggest Janet fan under. No, I remember you are. Because that's why I was like, I know you're a big Janet fan. Taylor is supposed to announce. Lord, we don't need another re-recording from her. Janet was number one when I was in high school in the 80s. Mm-hmm. You was in high school in the 80s? Like, I don't even think I wasn't even in junior high school in the 80s. I was in I was an infant. I was like, high school. Oh, all right. I was not expecting that. Oh, so y'all in y'all 50s up in here? Shout out to the 50-year-olds and shout out to Cleveland. Cleveland got a man. Cleveland was talking about all over social media. They got a man. Then somebody told them that would never happen for them. But I always tell people it get greater later. Don't want nobody be out here telling y'all otherwise. You can find you a man. You get you a new career. You can do all the things at a certain age. I don't know why people think that when you get to be like 40 or something, you're supposed to just wither away and die. Maybe you need to do that. Well, that's a good thing. That it was like when you tell people your age, that they're like, you look good for your age. Well, not you look good for your age, because you look good for your age does sound like a backhanded comment. A backhanded compliment. Apparently, I can't talk today. A backhanded compliment, which it kind of is. I hear people say, "Oh, you look good for 45." I'm like, bitch, what the hell that supposed to mean? And what does a 45-year-old look like? People don't. There's no face you can put with an age. Just say you look good. Don't say you look good for someone's age. Because then it's like, okay, bitch, you tried it. But anyway, let's move on. Speaking of people who look good for their age due to plastic surgery, let's talk about Miss Kim Kardashian, who wasn't the only one. You know, Diddy wasn't, or Cassie, I should say, was the only one that got up on a stand and testified about abuse and things of that nature. So Miss Kimmy got herself, Kimmy K, Kanye favorite, got herself up on the stand across, you know, I was gonna say across the pond, but across the pond will be the UK. But she was over in the France and testified in her own case, where she said that she feared she would be R-worded and fatally pow-powed during the terrifying 2016 burglary. She said, quote, "He grabs my legs and pulls me. I'm naked." I mean, well, girl, do we know you any other way? "And my everything is exposed. I was sure I was going to be R-worded," she said. Kardashian, who arrived at the French courthouse dripping in diamonds. So even though they was robbing her for her diamonds, she decided to show up like she was Elizabeth Taylor. So I guess she was going to say, "This also brings you luck." Also testified, I'm going to say terrified. Well, she was terrified, but she testified that she thought her sister Kourtney would return to the hotel to find that I would be unalive on the bed, pow-powed unalive, and that she would have this memory forever. Saying, "I absolutely thought I was going to be unalive. I'm so sick of when you can't say certain words. It's so annoying." She replied to Judge David DePass's question about whether she feared for her life. Now, in March, reports surfaced that Kim, who's 44, would travel back to Paris to take the stand nearly a decade after she was bound and robbed at gunpoint in her room at the Hotel de Portales, I think is how you say it. Look, I didn't take French in school, so I can't speak French, but I can if you like. But then she says German. But anyway, so now she said that she has great respect and admiration for the French justice system, has been treated with great respect by the French authorities. In October of 2016, the mother of four traveled to the City of Light for Paris Fashion Week. While she was in her hotel room wearing nothing but a robe, gunmen who pose as cops entered the residence, gagged her and tied her up. Now, the robbers then left her in the bathtub before taking off with $10 million worth of jewelry, including a $4 million upgraded wedding ring the reality star received from her then husband, Kanye West, earlier that year. And this is, of course, you know, same thing like what they talk about with Miss Dorit. They think that she made this up. But apparently, she's saying it's not what happened. But apparently, that is what happened, because I even have a picture of the man who masterminded the robbery. And we're going to get to that in a second. Now, they said in a 2020 interview with David Letterman, Kim said two robbers entered her room with the concierge, whom they had handcuffed. "They were yelling at me in French, and I just sat up, and they kept on saying, 'the ring,'" she recalled. The Skims co-founder said she handed one of the robbers her diamond ring. Then he grabbed her and pulled her towards him. I was like, okay, this is the time we're going to get R-worded. Like, deal, this is going to happen. Just prepare yourself. She mostly remembered. So I did. And then I don't know why I'm crying. I've talked about this before. And then he tied me up with handcuffs and zip ties and then duct tape my mouth and my eyes. Kim begged for the robbers to let her live. Excuse me, because she had minor children, her husband, and her family at home. Now, after the robbers left, the billionaire mogul was able to break out of her bindings and get out of the hotel to find help. So, yeah, so here is the guy that apparently masterminded the whole thing. His name, they said that there was 10 individuals, including mastermind Yunus Abbas, who were charged in connection with the robbery, with police maintaining that the crime was an inside job. So then she spoke with Parisian investigators before speeding off in a police escorted van to the Paris Le Bourget airport. where she boarded a private jet and left the country. Now, there were 10 individuals, including mastermind Yunus Abbas, who were charged in connection with the robbery. In a 2022 interview, Abbas showed no remorse about the crimes, blaming Kim's showy social media post as motivation for the burglary. And this is why I always say that when it comes down to it, celebrities need to be careful in regards. I understand, like, when it comes, see, this is what I hate about social media, because a lot of times, like, yeah, I'm at an event, I've got somewhere to be, I'm promoting a movie, or even if it's just like I'm going to Paris Fashion Week, I'm going to the Met Gala, I'm at the Knick game, as we saw yesterday, her sister Kylie was there with Timothy Chalamet, and also Cardi B was there with her new man. Like, there's way, like, you can't avoid not people not knowing where you are. And if I'm going out, yeah, I want to look good. If I'm worth millions of dollars, you think I'm gonna just hide everything that I'm wearing? I mean, trust me, I'm not the type that likes to wear, even like if I had money or even when I don't have money, I don't like to wear a lot of jewelry. I wear my my black bracelet. My mother got me this bracelet with a little message that she wrote to me on it, and then I have my little Apple Watch. I don't like wearing chains. I've never been a jewelry wearer, so but I understand, like, when you're a woman and you're somebody like Kim Kardashian, she likes to be all glammed up. She likes to play that role, especially when she was in good standing with Kanye at the time. She had she wanted to be like this big fashion girl, because prior to Kanye, she was not that girl in that whole sense. So that was the one good thing that he was able to teach her. But it's like, yeah, you're always gonna have people out there that are watching that are gonna just be like, I don't like her. I don't see it for her. Oh, y'all showing out and trying to act like you better than us. So I'm gonna go and clean you out. And they're saying it's an inside job. So I'm kind of wondering, who was the person that did the inside jobation? Was it the concierge who y'all tied up and handcuffed? That he kind of played it up in the whole situation, and that's where it was like, okay, she's in the room by herself. Y'all can come up, I'll play along. You kind of make it seem like I've been knocked out and held hostage, whatever the case is, while you do your little robberation situation. Like, I need more details on this whole situation, because I want to know who did the whole inside jobness. So yeah, while we find out all the details on that, I'll just guess I'll just have to keep myself or y'all abreast of this story as it develops. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of Kim testifying over there in France about her being robbed at gunpoint over 10 years ago? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. All right, so now in other Kim Kardashian news, they dropped the trailer for this new show that Ryan Murphy, I believe, created around her, called All's Fair. And apparently, the shady fans got all over social media and showed their disgust, because they feel like, how dare y'all basically position Kim Kardashian above some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry, including, how her name go over Naomi Watts, Niecy Nash, Tiana Taylor, Sarah Paulson, and Glenn Close? Like, where they do that at? So, let's get into that story. So basically, they said the teaser, which can now be seen below, shows off the series All Star. Well, I posted a video or something on my website. So if y'all haven't seen it, you can definitely go over to YouTube. It's up. But the cast includes Kim Kardashian, Naomi Watts, Niecy Nash-Betts, Tiana Taylor, Matthew Noska, Sarah Paulson, and Glenn Close. It also features appearances from Elizabeth Berkley is in the show, which that really got me in the beginning when I saw her. And Jessica Simpson is up in there too. I was like, okay, I definitely want to check out the show, but the log line for the show was this. It says a team of female divorce attorneys leave a male-dominated firm to open their own powerhouse practice. Fierce, brilliant, and emotionally complicated, they navigate high-stakes breakups, scandalous secrets, and shifting allegiances, both in the courtroom and within their own ranks. In a world where money talks and love is a battleground, I'm surprised they didn't put love as a battlefield. These women don't just play the game, they change it. So now, while this does sound like a great cast, and I think, like, have y'all ever seen The Good Wife? Like, I love that show when it was on. But I think the Niecy Nash character, she's playing like the Kalinda Sharma character, which is like when they need a little dirt on these other people so that way they can have something against them, and when they want to win their case, she's out lurking in the bushes or in her car and taking pictures of these no good men. So that's Niecy Nash, and anything with Niecy Nash, I'm gonna be here for. And I like this ensemble cast. These are some good, strong women that clearly are gonna be surrounding Kim Kardashian, but I could definitely see that why a lot of the fans of the social media be upset, because Kim is polarizing. They feel like that family has been shoved down our throats for far too long, and it's cute or whatever if she wants to get and dabble in acting and all this other stuff. But people feel like that this is some old nepotism mess, that Ryan Murphy has pretty much disrespected all these people who came up through the trenches of not being Nepo babies. They had to actually work through the trenches to get the gigs that they get. But because Kim Kardashian is a name, you made this show more about her than all these other names that's a part of the show. So, of course, with that being said, offended fans took to social media to lambast Kardashian, for whom All's Fair was created for by Murphy, for taking top billing, forcing acclaimed actors to play second fiddle to the novice actress. And I guess because she failed the baby bar so many damn times until she barely passed it, and I don't know how many times she did it, about a half dozen, I believe. And because she ain't really a damn lawyer, so but I guess you have to resort to playing one on TV. So yeah, so some people went on and said the following, because I do got the screenshots. So I just want to show you a couple of the pictures. And there goes the iconic Elizabeth Berkley, who looks good, by the way. Shout out to her. You know, I love me some Elizabeth Berkley ever since she was Jesse Spano or Saved by the Bell. And I don't care what nobody says. I am a huge fan of Showgirls. Naomi Malone will forever be an icon. I love her. I love Crystal Connors. I love reciting every line from that damn movie. And the choreography was sickening. I know some people feel the way they feel, but it is a camp classic. You can't tell me nothing. I won't hear it. I love Showgirls. But anyway, so yeah, this is where people got and saw this. When they showed at the end, people was pissed because of the way they put it. They got Kim Kardashian at top billing. So a couple of people said the following. One said, in what world is Naomi Watts playing second fiddle to this hot mess, or in this hot mess? The fact that Glenn Close is standing behind Kim Kardashian is blasphemous. Another person said, must be embarrassing for the likes, well, child, you spelled likes wrong, of Glenn Close and Naomi Watts to be standing behind a Kardashian. And that's a whole lot of behind you standing behind. Another person said, imagine having decades of experience in your field and accolades to show for it, and now having to play second fiddle to an amateur. Ooh, y'all shady. Another person said, you mean star Naomi Watts, Niecy Nash, Tiana Taylor, Sarah Paulson, Glenn Close, and Kim Kardashian. Hashtag fixed it. Hashtag Hulu. Another person said, Kim Kardashian is sharing screen space with such established actors, and getting a role that is somehow more important than them is just not right. But it's okay, I guess. Another person said, Matthew Redman. He said, hot garbage. Another person said, why do they keep trying to make KK an actress? Another person said, this looks horrible, make it stop. Another person said, looks trashy, but no wonder if we could see KK first credit. And that's sad with so many talented actresses in supporting roles. Another person said, did she give up on becoming a real lawyer? Another person said, Kim is a charisma black hole. She just doesn't have it. Damn, not a charisma black hole. That's like, that really is, that stings. As far as like, yeah, I did gather a lot of comments in regards to this. Really? Like, really? Really? Another person said, so she decided to just play one on TV. The other person said, looks like a hot mess. Nope and nope. Then it was ill. It's a joke to cast her. KK title role over the others. Nope, nah, she's not even a decent actress. And that was, I think, the problem that I had with the show, because I was like, let me fix that and then get back to Miss that was the problem I had with what was the American Horror Story that she did. I was so disappointed with that. I'll just leave it there, because you see how there's Jessica Simpson. Shout out to her. I haven't seen her in a minute. That's what I had a problem with the last American Horror Story. I couldn't get through it, because I get Kim does what she does and talks how she talks, but that vocal fry and that frozen stoic thing with her, like, just to me, she has no range. I'm gonna check out the show and give it a chance to see how it is. But to me, it's two things that I fear. One is that Kim's acting is not gonna. There's no peaks and valleys with her. So I'm feeling very Drag Race right now. But like, there's no peaks and valleys when it comes to her and the acting job, because they always say that when they're on that damn panel. Meanwhile, majority of judges up there couldn't act their way out of a damn paper bag. Michelle's not a good actress. RuPaul's not a good actress. And neither is Carson Kressley, because we seen that episode, or not even Carson Kressley. It was, what's that, Ross Matthews. He ain't no good actor, because remember when they did that season, from season 17? His acting was atrocious. When he was playing, one of the characters that, It was a Ryan Murphy series that he did too with the Swans. Truman Capote, where he was playing him. I was like, your acting is just as hard, but you up here trying to critique people when they acting. Child, if you don't go sit down somewhere. But anyway, I worry about the peaks and valleys of her acting ability. And number two, Ryan Murphy has burned me in a lot of ways when it comes to his programming. Like, it starts out great. The campiness be camping. We live for the camp. But then it comes to a certain point where it starts out great, but then by episode 3 or 4, it goes completely off the rails. So that's what is really got me worried in regards of this show, that it's going to be just like any other Ryan Murphy series. And he's got so many. Between this, Dr. Odyssey, which is on the bubble right now, we don't know if that show's coming back. They just greenlit 911 Nashville with Leanne Rimes and Chris O'Donnell's on it, and Brad Paisley's wife is on it. So they're trying to zhuzh up that show. Then we got 911 coming back without, Peter Krause, but they done killed him off. And Lone Star, they canceled that. So Ryan's got a lot on his plate, and we don't even know what the fate of American Horror Story is. Quiet as it's kept, they can cancel that damn show, but that show ain't been good in 5 seasons. Quiet as it's kept, even more quieter than it's kept. I haven't really been that excited for American Horror Story since Coven. That was the last time I thought they did a really good, well-rounded series. After that, it's all the seasons have been kind of just not giving me what I need. So there you have it. So I want to say all this to you. Did y'all see the trailer for the new series, All's Fair? That's supposed to be coming out. I don't know when it's coming out. It's supposed to be coming out on Hulu. It says in the fall. So more than likely, it'll probably be out in September. Which I don't understand why we getting it now in May. Why are you showing that now? Y'all could have just saved that for July or August. But y'all could have shown us the trailer for that. But it looks good from what I've seen. It looked like it looks expensive. The cast is well-rounded, but Kim just seems to be the common factor with a lot of people, that they don't want to see her in this show. And so I really wish they would stop trying to make fetch happen when it comes to the acting and her. So let me know what you think of this story in the comments down below. I almost forgot to mention that she does have a show coming out with I think she's developing some type of show with Lala Anthony. So it's probably gonna be, I don't know if she's gonna be in it, but I hear she's developing a show. So there's more to come with her. Anyway, let's see what the people are saying. You saw the high school in that show. I graduated high school in 99. It's Sarah Paulson is what gets me. She agreed to do this, but not save American Horror Story from the go. I don't even think her being on American Horror Story would have saved it. I really don't think that she would have been able to save it. Because I was whoever they put on that show, it was just a mess. I think it could have been planned for the millions of free press. Plus, it would have been a year after Caitlyn Vanity Fair cover. Not Charisma Black Hole. Ain't that some show Halle? Yes, I totally forgot. That was the show that Halle Berry was supposed to be on. I wonder who replaced her. But yeah, that was the show Halle Berry probably might have been Naomi Watts. That was the show that Halle Berry was signed on for, but she said, do the schedule come with Chad. She heard Kim was going to be a part of that shit, and I was like, thank you, next. I was hold on, let me close this up, because I was I didn't even close up my other stuff. Yes, that was Jessica Simpson. It said Jessica Chicken of the Sea Simpson. Is that chicken or fish? Remember that? Halle left the series after. Yeah, Halle out in these streets right now. Anyway, now speaking of Halle, let's talk about her, because she's out in Cannes. Some people call it Cannes. We call it Cannes because we fancy over here. So yeah, the former Bond girl and Oscar-winning actress doesn't know if a future 007 should be a woman. And this is what she said during a press conference while she was at the Cannes Film Festival, because I'm feeling fancy. I want to call it Cannes. So anyway, now all eyes were on Halle Berry as the Cannes Film Festival kicked off on Tuesday with its jury press conference. And shout out to Robert De Niro, because he went in on a tirade about Donald Trump, and I was cackling. Where the Oscar winner, you know, he can't stand him. Where the Oscar winner was questioned on everything from Khan's new dress code to if she would ever go back to the James Bond universe. Now, when asked by Variety if she would be open to revisiting a spinoff involving her character Jinx, or if she would take on the role of the famous spy herself, she said the following. She said, I don't know if 007 should be a woman. On the spinoff, she added that there was a time where that could have happened, probably should have happened. I would have loved for that to happen. Now, elsewhere during the jury press conference, press conference, which also included President Juliette Binoche and Succession star Jeremy Strong, Berry was quizzed on the news of a stricter dress code banning nudity and voluminous outfits. In fact, Berry revealed that she had an amazing dress by Gupta that I cannot wear tonight because it's too big of a train. She said, I'm not going to break the rules. She continued adding, the nudity part is also probably a good rule. Now, Binoche was, especially after they was criticizing, you know, her outfit that she wore at the Met Gala, where they was about, oh, we can see your hoo-ha. I was like, no, you can't. But it was cute or whatever that you felt like you thought you did. Now, Binoche was also asked about Gerard Depardieu, who was found guilty on Tuesday morning on sexual assault charges and sentenced to an 18-month suspended prison sentence. Excuse me. When asked in larger societal change and the Me Too movement led to his takedown, she responded, of course, yeah, absolutely. Quote, for a number of years, indeed, the festival is following the trend of social and political life. There have been great changes occurring in the world. Sometimes it follows the trend, sometimes it spearheads it. I think the festival is increasingly in step with what's happening today. The Me Too movement wave took some time to gain strength. So they also talked about Trump's tariffs, which have become a hot topic already at this year's festival, where you had Tom Cruise like, we had to talk about the movie. We don't want to talk about Trump's tariff. Well, child, if you make another damn Mission Impossible movie, your movie gonna be affected by them damn tariffs. So you might want to speak about it. So yeah, they went on to say, we could see that Trump is fighting and trying to save America and save his ass. This is what Binoche said, getting a laugh out of the I mean, you're getting a laugh out of me too. So to get back to what Halle said, I would love to see a Jinx solo film. The reason why the Jinx solo film didn't happen is because I'll say it's because she's a woman and she black. But they felt that if we did this movie, a solo film with her spinning off as Jinx, we put a $60 million budget behind it, they would not be able to recoup that money. Last time I checked, I mean, even though she still is a big movie star, Halle Berry still puts butts in seats. She would have put butts in seats back then. People liked, I mean, out of the many of things, and Die Another Day, it was all right. I mean, I liked the song. Some of the sequences in there was cool. I didn't like the film as a whole, but I definitely liked Halle's part in the film. And I like that she was given a lot to do. I loved her when she was a Bond girl, and I love when my girl Michelle Yeoh was a Bond girl. So when you get to see them in that type of element, I like when they was incorporating that into the whole Bond thing. But I do agree with them when it's like, no, I don't think I want to see a woman playing James Bond. I think James Bond needs to be James Bond. James Bond, you have to realize he is a misogynist. He is someone who's sexist. He's someone who loves women and loves drinking. And, you know, and in between his, you know, his saving the world, he likes to bed many a women. And so let him wallow in his misogyny. Let him try to navigate through that and try to, you know, maintain that element of what makes him who he is. Now, in regards of if you want to create characters in that Bond universe and you want to spin them off into their own thing, which I think is what Amazon MGM wants to do. They want to create characters and expand the Bond universe beyond just, okay, we're going to put out a new Bond movie in theaters, one Bond movie every 3 years, whatever the case is, because it's like he got a globe trot, you know, he's got to go around the world and and all that stuff. So yeah, you could create a character like a Jinx or something of that character and give them their own spinoff, kind of like what they're trying to do with the John Wick universe, even though I do think it took y'all a little too long to get that ball rolling. And speaking of John Wick, I'm still on this thing about, yes, we need a Sophia spinoff movie, because I feel like that moment of her with the Continental and her daughter and that backstory, that warrants a movie within itself. And I wish they would kind of give that off with the consequence of what she did by helping John. So I would love to see that story expanded and we like seeing Halle kick ass. We can definitely see that she's capable of doing it, especially with all the stunts and stuff she was doing in John Wick Parabellum. So I would love to see a Jinx Spinoff. Hopefully they revive it. I doubt they will, but it would be a. I think that the fans would still kind of want to see it, and if they could make it happen, if not a movie, you can make a TV series based around it. I think it would definitely work. 8 episode series with Halle Berry as Jinx, or y'all can still try to work with that spinoff of Sophia, while I wait until a couple of weeks when we get the ballerina, which they already showed a trailer for the new ballerina they showed the final trailer for the ballerina. I'm looking forward to that. And just like what Anna de Armas said, speaking of ballerina, she said the same thing. She was like, no, let Bond be Bond. But we would love to see more action centered, like more female centered action movies. And I definitely would love to. Like, I love action movies with women. I watch a lot of, Hong Kong action movies. I watch a lot of Korean based action movies, and they have no problem putting women at the center of their films. I don't know why it's a big deal still in America. Now, if people want to come out with their woke bullshit, then it's like, you know what? Go eat some dirt outside. Go play in traffic. The movie is not for you. But we definitely welcome diversity. And I love seeing diverse characters on the screen. If you have a great story to tell, centered around whether it's a woman, whether it's a person of color, whether it's a homosexual, whatever the case is, if it's a good story, I'm here for it because my mind, like my heart, is open. So I saw this to say, whatever your thoughts are on this thing, do you agree with what Halle had to say in regards about James Bond? And well, she didn't really say if she should be if he should be a woman, but about the whole Jinx thing, or do you think that James Bond's gender should be changed? I feel like if the character is the character, leave him be. We can create things and have our own version of that character instead of having to go in and do a gender swap or whatever the case is. So let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. All right. The bars below the Nasser. Not the slide circles of hell. But I've been saying I would tap dance on that shit. Yeah, prequel would have been interesting. A female Bond to me would be more like a girl with a dragon tattoo character. Well, you want her to look like that character? A lesbian? Mm-hmm. Zhang. Wait, did they do? No, they didn't do Crouching Tiger. That name does sound familiar. I want a lesbian James Bond, a Jane Bond. Then the incels have a problem with it, just like they have a problem with Ellie over there at The Last of Us. Mind you, in the game, she was a full-on lesbian. But y'all got a problem with her being a lesbian in the show? I was like, are y'all slow, or y'all just want to go on social media just to be trolls? When you not when you don't have much of a life, I guess. Oh yeah, that's what it was. I saw Hero. I love that movie. I was gonna say they had every Asian up there. I mean, they did. They had Jet Li was up in it, and all of them. Donnie Yen. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I do kind of want to say, you know what I want to also, I definitely have to purchase, um, damn, what's that movie? I gotta purchase Wick is Pain, which is a documentary around the whole John Wick thing. I keep forgetting and I need to see Drop. I have not gotten around to watching that movie yet. I might rent it tonight because I need something to watch. I need to get my mind off this Diddy stuff, so I need to watch something. Diddy and Donald Trump. I'm tired of them too. Every day, that's all. That's all it's in. The zeitgeist of media. So I probably will like rent some movies tonight and take my mind off some of this mess. But anyway, let's move on and let's talk about America's Next Top Model. So I don't know if any of y'all heard, but there is a documentary being developed over at Netflix about America's Next Top Model. And they're saying that none other than Miss Tyra Banks herself will participate in the documentary, which I think is great because with all this conversation that they've been having about, everybody getting on social media and doing their little discourse videos and want to talk about how problematic America's Next Top Model was. And I want to give a shout out to Raja, who recently did an interview with, damn, I wish I had the video, the clip, if I would have thought about it. She did an interview on Monet Exchange podcast, and she was talking about it. It was like, yeah, everybody keeps saying all these little things, whatever, but Tyra took me around the world and introduced me to all these different things in different places when I would have been able to afford to do those things. And now, Raja can do that because of her still working behind the scenes in America's Next Top Model, and they're going on Drag Race and all that other stuff. But I do feel like people have been a little too harsh in regards of ANTM. And people need to realize that that's what the times. And yeah, there was some controversial things that they did on the show, but that's kind of like, it was reminiscent of what was going on in the modeling world. And not only that, but they got a lot more stuff coming up on it. Like, I sort of think that the Carol G documentary is up on Netflix. I need to check that out. And then I just heard today that they're releasing the Selena y Los Dinos documentary, the one, about her and being in the band and all this stuff. That's actually coming to Netflix also. Never prior to. I don't remember if there was the actual release date, but Netflix snagged everything. And then they get in a bed with Madonna doing something with her too. So they're snagging up all the big names over there. Don't they do something with Beyonce? Hopefully, maybe they can get Cowboy Carter up in there. But anyway, so according to Entertainment Weekly, because they exclusively reported this, so I'm going to give them their flowers on this. They said that Banks, who fronted 23 of the popular modeling competition shows 24 cycles between 2003 and 2018, sat for an interview for the multi-episode Netflix documentary series that will premiere on the streaming service at a future date. Now, other participants have not been announced, but will include figures who were part of the original TV show. The docuseries from Netflix and Ever Wonder Studio will chronicle a wide range of topics from the program's multi-cycle run. They also said that EW has reached out to representatives for Banks, Netflix, and Ever Wonder to comment on the news. Now, the 51-year-old fashion icon rarely participates in longer form projects about ANTM, though she did appear on stage at the 2025 Essence Black Women in Hollywood, and though she admitted to saying some dumb-ish on the reality show, she also championed her team that fought to bring the diversity to that television show at a time when it didn't exist. Now, after rising to prominence as an international supermodel who posed for both high fashion and commercial brands, Banks translated her successful body career into TV stardom as creator, producer, and host of America's Next Top Model, which when it debuted in 2003. Now, across several network shifts, the show moved from UPN to the CW in 2006, then again to VH1 in 2016. ANTM lasted for 24 total cycles, with Banks expanding her TV empire to include the Tyra Banks Show talk show series in the process. So now they said that since the premiere, the show underwent a public revelation amid the coronavirus pandemic, with some fans posting scathing critiques of the show, judging, photo challenges, and more. Now, in a 20th anniversary oral history on the show's wildest moments, 14 contestants spoke with EW in 2023 about how their time of the show, with stories ranging from on-air sexual misconduct to contestants wearing dark face paint to switch races for 2 photo shoot challenges, which today, yes, that would be problematic. But back then, I could definitely see that maybe they thought, oh, well, a white girl in blackface, I want you to be put in the shoes of someone so you understand discrimination. But still, you putting on blackface, like us thinking about now, like, no, putting on blackface paint, you still wouldn't get the nuance of what people of color endure, because you still wouldn't get it. Your privilege still overtakes that. So I'm sure on paper it sounds like a good idea, but when they did the episode and they had to execute it, that was just a no. But sometimes you live and you learn. We all have our great ideas, and then there's some ideas that's like, sis, what the hell were you thinking? So many viewers criticized the show in hindsight, though Cycle 4 model Kenya Hill told EW at the time that there's a big difference between us being artistic and having fun with photo shoot ideas and different parts of our aesthetic, emphasizing what she feels is a clear line between the Cycle 4 shoot and malicious intent behind blackface. Saying if there's a non-black person who goes out on Halloween painting their skin brown and making a mockery of it, then it's blackface and making a mockery of black people. Those are 2 different things. Look at the context. Now, in a statement to EW at the time, a spokesperson for Banks said the intention of the shoot was to combat an industry where lighter skin and straighter hair were pervasive beauty standards. That's true. which perpetuated deep insecurities within women. The spokesperson maintained that such shoots were meant to be a moment celebrating us and spotlighting underrepresented ideologies of beauty, textured hair, and dark skin on a global scale. But I guess maybe because y'all were outnumbered with a lot of those girls who had those different beauty standards and textures, that you felt that, damn, we got to put our white girls up in this stuff as well. So, yeah, that is something that is prominent in the fashion industry where they do discriminate against, girls having certain features and things of that nature. And yes, that there are people who are a mixed race who are fair skinned and with maybe blue eyes or green eyes or hazel eyes, and they look racially ambiguous, with curly hair or whatever, soft curly hair, that it's like that's something exotic. So they can work with that versus a girl that looked like Alec Weck or something of that nature, or Iman, who she's an icon, but I'm sure she's had to deal with a lot of racial stuff as well. Beverly Johnson, I'm sure Naomi Campbell had to deal with it as well. So I should say this. America's Next Top Model, I didn't know this. They said America's Next Top Model was never formally canceled. It hasn't aired a new season since cycle 24 ended in 2018. And they last year, a source familiar with the situation said to EW that Banks has no current plans to bring the show back for its 25th season anytime soon. So I kind of wish that maybe, you know what, once they do this docu-series and they put everything out on the table and y'all shut the fuck up and move on with y'all hateration and holleration, even though y'all wasn't even old enough to be able to watch and understand what we were watching back then when America's Next Top Model was popping, 20 something odd years ago. Because when it came out, 2003? Yeah, so like 22 years ago, I guess, if I can do the math on the top of my head. So yeah, y'all don't understand the nuance of what we was dealing with at that time. So I would love to see that they would try to bring it back. Look, they bring back every damn thing else. I heard they got a Celebrity Wheel of Fortune coming out. They're reviving American Gladiators with Mike the Miz hosting that. They're reviving Fear Factor. I don't know if Joe Rogan's going to be a part of it, because remember when nobody knew who the hell Joe Rogan was, even back when he was on news radio, he was hosting that show. And so now they talk about bring back. So they're reviving everything. A lot of shows that I grew up watching, a lot of those shows are coming back on TV, I guess, because they're trying to save money, because a lot of these scripted shows are expensive. So getting into the world where the current administration is cutting every damn thing, I always say they always resort back to reality competitions and things like that because they are cheap to produce and put out. And a lot of those people are non-union. So that's the latest. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this series when it comes out, because I was a fan of America's Next Top Model. I totally understand a lot of people's genuine concerns about some of the problematic things that were on the show. And I'm definitely hoping that we'd hear a whole lot more of, things that we may not have heard said before, based off of whatever interview that certain America's Next Top Model girls may have done with YouTubers, whatever the case is, them coming over and doing a docu-series with Netflix, I'm sure we'll probably get to the bottom line. And I'm sure that there'll be some revelations from Tyra that we haven't even heard. And she'll just have to sit up there and windmill hard for her show that people continue to condemn for being problematic, even though I don't think it was problematic. But anyway, so I would definitely want to hear from y'all. So let me know what your thoughts are in this story in the comments down below. So, oh yes, Miss Tyra getting that check. She will promote the hell out of it. They had a few seasons of Top Model on Netflix. I think America's Next Top Model, I think it's on Hulu. So I could probably go on there and watch that, because I actually thought about revisiting the franchise. I'm in my nostalgia bag with a lot of shows. So I just, whenever I'm feeling nostalgic about stuff, I'm like, oh, I want to go and watch that. I actually like the co-ed season too, where they had the male and the female. I would hope, like, if they do bring back America's Top Model, that they would do it with male and female models, because we definitely need that. But you have to change it up, I guess, with influencers, because the times they have a change. I say anybody who wasn't old enough to watch Top Model when it first aired, okay? Because it's like, y'all cannot come up in there. And this is why what irritates me. When people who were not around in 2003 were probably like 2 or 3 or an infant, or probably just born when American Next Top Model hit the airwaves, Just because it's now you 18 or whatever, and you got a TikTok or whatever the case is, and y'all want to watch Americans Next Top Model, say, oh, this is problematic. I was like, look, like you said, if you wasn't there, if you don't understand, then you cannot speak on something on how you can't bring in 2025 stuff on what was going on in 2003. Because that was the times. And we can't turn back time and change stuff. Chris, make sure you watch Shadow 2018. I think I saw that. But I may have to revisit because when I like to watch things with House of the Flying Daggers. I don't know why I could not remember the name of that movie because I was like, I know that name sounds familiar, but yeah, House of the Flying Daggers was a good one. I think I saw Shadow. I think I watched that was on Prime Video. I may have to look. I think that's also on Netflix. I have to check that and see if it's up there. But hold on, let me see if it's if I go to my who sent me a whole bunch of messages. It's probably my job. Send me a whole bunch of messages. Yeah, well, I done missed out on that because I'm busy doing the damn show. So let me see if it's up there and then we'll get back to the show. Look at me doing other things and I'm supposed to be focusing on this. Where the hell's that? Another movie that was good too was The Shadow Strays. I don't know if y'all saw that. That was directed by Timo Tjahjanto. He did The Night Comes for Us. He also directed what's the name of that freaking movie with that just damn it. I hate when I draw a blank on Nobody. He directed Nobody Part 2, which they just dropped the trailer for that earlier today. So I watched that movie. I was like, the fights in that movie was crazy. They didn't even grow up with the much gayer queer as folk. Try watching it. They're not as shady as like the Queens were, throwing the entire closet out. Jay basically saying your music collection. Wait, are they actually doing rewatches of Queer as Folk? Can you imagine that? I don't know if there's people out here that's doing rewatches and the younger that would be actually an interesting idea. Make the younger generation watch Queer as Folk and see how they react to it. Because remember, then they gave us that messy one that was over there on Peacock. I was like, what is this mess? Curse of the Golden Flower. Yeah, I saw that too. I told you I love martial arts movies. Nobody is put on my list. Yeah, Nobody too. They dropped the trailer earlier today because I was looking for. I saw it was on Twitter, and I was looking for it on YouTube, and they didn't even drop it on YouTube. And so until like 2 hours before I came on the air, I still haven't watched the trailer yet. It's funny. I should probably start doing reaction videos, but I don't know if I did it during a live, if they would be like, oh, a copyright strike or whatever. So that's what I'm doing. Anyway. All right, let's talk about Miss Honey Boo Boo Chair, who is apparently coming out with her very own biopic over on Lifetime. Because, child, they ain't going to the movies. Who going to the movies to see that? But she said with all this tea that she's spilling, she hope it don't cause a rift between her and her mother. And she said, I'm a little nervous. This is what the 19-year-old told People on Tuesday about the May 17th release. No, that's this week. Of I Was Honey Boo Boo, in which she opens up about what she and her sisters endured as they witnessed their mom spiraling into drug addiction. She said, I did not want this movie to be throwing punches at my mama and making her out to be the bad guy, but I didn't hold back, and if she get mad at the end of the day, it's the truth. Now, following her rise to fame on TLC's Toddlers and Tiaras as a young beauty queen, Thompson became the star of her own show, Here Comes Honey Boo Boo, in 2012. And yeah, I got caught up in that mess because I was something there watching these hillbillies and they skitty and all that other stuff. And I'm like, and that old little concoction, whatever that mess was that they was drinking. So, however, what was meant to be a lighthearted series quickly became something more serious when Shannon, who's now 45, became addicted to crack cocaine. They said, I noticed something was off about her. This is what Thompson remembered. She started locking her doors, which really made me think, oh, what is she doing? In 2019, Shannon and her boyfriend at the time, Eugene Gino Doak, was arrested and charged with felony possession of drugs, saying people were like, I saw your mama on the news with the busted tooth strung out. This is what she recalls to the magazine. I'm like, great. Like, I didn't see that too. I mean, people like to throw stuff in your face, and they be thinking like the kids aren't aware of things that was going on. Kids are just as cruel as anybody else. So Shannon later admitted to spending more than $1 million at the height of her addiction, including $35,000 of Thompson's pay from Dancing with the Star. Bitch, I'd have killed her. It's like, so you out here spending my money on the get high with your man. And this is where she thought that she could trust her mother with, the managing and the money and all this other stuff. And Miss Mamas was out here spending her money up on getting high. So by 2022, Thompson's sister Lauren Pumpkin Efford, who's now 25, gained custody of Thompson and helped her graduate from high school. She is now a nursing student at Regis University in Denver. Saying, quote, I just always told myself, that you want to do something better with your life and bigger than with your life than just being on TV. So you've got to get up and go. You've got to graduate so you can make it to college and be the nurse that you want to be. This is what she told people. After Shannon returned Thompson's money without an apology, the mother-daughter duo reconciled. However, forgiving her mother, who's now 5 years sober and married to Justin Stroud, was hard. She said, at the end of the day, she's my mom. When she was bad in her addiction, I just kept thinking about the day she'd recover. We're going pretty good. Hopefully it lasts. I just no longer have any expectations for her. Now, when asked about her past arrests and drug addictions, Shannon told people, I don't remember who that person was because I worked so much on myself. Now, in addition to Thompson and Efford, Shannon is a mom to Anna Chickadee Cardwell, who y'all know passed away in 2023 from cancer at age 29. And then we got Jessica Chubb Shannon, who's 28. So I Was Honey Boo Boo premieres, in case y'all want to see it, on May 17th at 8 p.m. on Lifetime. So I'm like, you know what? At the end of the day, we already know Honey Boo Boo is famous. The most famous person to come out of Tyler's and Tiara's. And I can totally get why she felt the need, like, at the end of the day, I got to come out and I got to tell my side of the story. And this is what happened. And I need to put all that out there on Jump Street. And yeah, it's a movie. And if it's hard for you, sorry, but at the end of the day, I got to tell my story and I got to put it all out there. And we'll see how it is when it airs on Friday and how June responds. And I feel like, yeah, it might be a tough pill for her to swallow, but you the one that created this situation. You the one that did what you did. And I'm glad that at the end of the day, you guys have come out on the other side, as she claims, victorious. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? You looking forward to seeing Honey Boo Boo's new little Lifetime movie when it comes out this week over on that channel. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Damn, allergies is kicking my butt today. We're going to push through. All right, y'all. So we got 3 more topics left until we are wrapped with today's show. Before we get to those final 3 topics, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll also be putting in timestamps once the live stream is over. So for those who are going to watch the playback, could just click right over to the topic at hand instead of just going through the banter that we do during the live stream. All right, so now without further ado, let's get into this Tory Lanez story. So yeah, yesterday we talked a little bit about, we heard that Tory Lanez was stabbed up in the prison. And now we got some more details on the situation. They say he was stabbed up about a whopping 14 times. And we even got a detail of where them knifations, where they carved him up at. So now hours after TMZ reported on Monday, May 12th, that the musician, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, he's 32, by the way, was allegedly hemmed up by another prison inmate. Lanez's team confirmed the news in a statement posted on his official Instagram account, saying, and I think I have, wait, hold on, because I actually have the statement. Tory was stabbed 14 times, including 7 wounds to his back, 4 to his torso, 2 to the back of his head, and 1 to the left side of his face. Both of his lungs collapsed, and he was placed on a breathing apparatus. He is now breathing on his own despite being in pain. He is talking normally, in good spirits, and deeply thankful to God that he is pulling through. He also wants to thank everyone for their continued prayers and support. So, with all that being said, I feel like at this point, you might have to keep him in solitary confinement. Now, according to the Los Angeles Times, citing a statement from the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation spokesperson, the attack occurred at about 7:20 in the morning at a housing unit at the prison. Prison staff is said to have immediately responded, activated 911, and began medical aid to Lanez before rushing him by ambulance to a nearby hospital. The incident is currently under investigation by the California Correctional Institute and the Kern County District Attorney's Office, per the LA Times. The Office of the Inspector General was also notified of the attack. I was like, child, what is going on with y'all in the pictures today? Thank you. Oh, he looked weird there. He looks a little bizarre. But anyway, so they also said that people have reached out to California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation for comment. Now, Lanez, as y'all know, is currently serving a 10-year sentence for pow-powing Megan Thee Stallion in the feet in July of 2020, like she was Della Reese up in Harlem Nights. Now, the artist was found guilty of all 3 charges related to the crime: assault with a semi-automatic firearm, carrying a loaded unregistered firearm in a vehicle, and discharging a firearm with gross negligence in December of 2022. Now, in January, Megan was granted a restraining order against Lanez through January 9th, 2030. Damn, that's my little birthday. January 9th, per court documents obtained by People. So there's the details in regards of what had happened to him in jail, because we only heard that they said that he got stabbed in the face or something or another. So that was all they reported. But now they talking about that, yeah, he was stabbed a whopping 14 times. So it kind of makes you wonder, was this a setup, a situation? Was there an argument that transpired? So yeah, there was like 7 wounds to his back, 4 to his torso, 2 to the back of his head, and 1 to the left side of his face. Because all we heard was the side stabbation. But we didn't hear anything else. But good to hear that he didn't lose his life over what had happened. But I'm sure what's going to happen is, upon further investigation, we'll be finding out all the details of what had transpired between, Tory and him getting knifed up. Like Chad Meeks Martin in the Scream damn movies. Talk about plot armor. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of the latest on Tory Lanez? So whatever your thoughts are on this story, let me know in the comments down below. If this poor man survived prison, his album is going. Okay. Wasn't he releasing music while he was in jail too? Like, I could have sworn I heard it said he was recording music in prison. I mean, it probably sounds terrible, but I'm like, look, not y'all up in prison creating studios and putting out bops and stuff. I can't wait till this cold and stuff is over. Anyway, let's move on, y'all. And let's talk about Blue Ivy, because word on the curb is Beyonce and Jay-Z might be grooming Blue Ivy to kind of take over the Knowles Carter dynasty, because ever since she's been pop locking and dropping it on this tour, they feel like she's got the stuff to want to become the next big thing. But before we get to that, I do want to give a huge congratulations to Beyonce, because with all this conversation and talk and stuff about how she's struggling with her tickets and this, that, and the third that we've all been hearing, and it's like, yeah, they did drop them tickets. It's about $30 and that sort of thing, and that's great that she was able to sell it out, because yeah, everybody's hurting right now, and with Ticketmaster and the resale prices and all that other stuff. I will point this out. So the 5 nights that she did at Inglewood SoFi Stadium, the numbers are in on how much the tour has grossed so far. She has made a whopping 55.7 million and sold 217,000 tickets for her first few shows on the Cowboy Carter tour, and this is according to Billboard Pro. I had to go and look elsewhere, because Billboard expect you to pay for certain certain articles or something they post. I was like, Chaba, somebody else will write it and give me the information, and I'll bring it to y'all. So they also said She also broke records to become the first artist who has played the most shows in SoFi Stadium's history. The outlet also reported that the Cowboy Carter tour is the highest grossing reported single venue engagement ever by a woman, to which we say, duh, it's Beyonce. So with all that stuff that everybody's been saying, it seemed like she's just been, excuse me, defying the odds. But, in addition, we do need to address like the strugglation because, they said, um, an insider told the Daily Mail that resellers were largely to blame for limited attendance. The source also dished that Bey and her husband, Jay Z, stayed hopeful that they were expecting more of her fans to buy tickets today and in the coming days if resales get cheaper. And that's usually what happens. I keep telling y'all, as someone who works in live entertainment, wait a couple of days or if not the day up. Get your little outfits. Go and check online or go down to the stadium and get your tickets at the ticket agent. They drop the prices. Then you go and purchase it that day because that's usually like they need to fill a quota. They need to make their quota, need to fill those seats. So if it boils down to it, wait the day of or the day before. That's when the tickets really drop because they need to sell those. They need to fill the place up. So they said per a state report for the Independent, where there were more than 3,000 seats available at SoFi Stadium the week before the slew of shows, and Ticketmaster seat map showed huge numbers of seats. So yeah, we were going through all of that, and now she's about to head to Chicago. There's to Soldiers Field, I should say, in Chicago. They estimated the Texas Hold'em Singers Tour will rake in $300 million by the end of the year. So look, she's making them bands, so shout out to her. But I just want to give Beyonce her flowers for a second before we get into the other stuff. So now, with Blue Ivy recently, well, not recently, she's been doing it a lot, upstaging her mother on his Cowboy Carter tour. They're basically saying that, they might be grooming her to take over the family musical dynasty. The 13-year-old, not Nepo baby. See, this will piss me off with Daily Mail with y'all little shade. Because y'all already been trying to throw shade at her over her seat situation. The 13-year-old Nepo baby, whose dad is rap mogul Jay-Z, showed her explosive choreography as she led a troupe of her mother's backing dancers in front of 70,000 fans at California's SoFi Stadium last month. And this month, with music in her genes, it seems fitting that Blue has inherited a taste not only for the industry, but also the spotlight. Now, the Daily Mail can reveal the seasoned performer wants more than to saddle up beside her mother. She wants to take the reins and pen her own body of work, saying Blue is considering starting her own career in music, an insider said. Some of Beyonce's favorite writers are quietly penning demos for her in anticipation, because I was getting tongue-tied with that word, for a solo album. And I definitely think like Blue Ivy's got the stuff in regards of like stage presence. She's very confident when she gets up on that stage. She's charismatic. She definitely knows how to stand on her mark, but also break when she needs to and acknowledge the audience. All this stuff. So she's definitely got the right teachers behind her. And I love the fact that, when she started out dancing, a little sloppy, like she seemed like she was a little timid, a little shy, afraid to like really come into her own. But then as she progressed, and this was during the Renaissance tour, you saw that she was getting better and better and better at it because people weren't, I guess maybe she realized these people aren't here to do you harm. They want to see you win because the Beyonce fans are loving and supportive when they're in their little silo. Yeah, we know the Beehive can be a little shady at times, like all the super fans. But for the most part, they're not going to sit up and throw shade at Blue. And she has to get and once you get comfortable in the pocket, because trust me, believe I get stage fright, but once you get out there, you have to tell yourself, okay, now you're already out here. You can't disappoint the people. You don't want to look like an idiot. So just push through the stage fright and give the best performance that you have within you. And that's the only way you'll be able to deliver. But I also like the roar of the crowd and I like attention. So, well, only when it comes to performing. Anything else, I'll just be like, I'm off in the corner, minding my business. Don't bother me, all that stuff. But when it comes to entertainment, when it's time for these lights and stuff to come on, and it's time to perform, I show up. After that, it's like, okay, leave me alone, because I'm an introvert extrovert. But anyway, I definitely could see Blue doing this because I said this from the beginning when she was dancing. I'm like, now if they actually took her to get some voice lessons, and if she could sing, oh, she'd be dangerous. But just know that I understand it will be a lot for her to live up to, because when you are the child of someone that is considered the GOAT, and it could be Beyonce, it could be Madonna, it could be any icon who is at their peak and will always and has been so influential in music, there's always going to be that pressure that, okay, now what you giving? Like, the music got to be popping, because people will be overtly critical of you. And you have to be able to know that that comes with the territory and be okay with it. So, um, with no shortage of industry bigwigs to lean on, they said the youngster has reportedly sought help from her famous aunt Solange and already has tracks lined up with from the Dream should she want them. Well, I do think that I would work more with Solange than her mother. I mean, Beyonce gives what Beyonce gives, but to me, no shade, I've always liked Solange's stuff more than Beyonce. Beyonce is like the showgirl. She gets up there, the hair and the choreography and the visuals and all this stuff. I've always liked Solange because Solange is very much, she's so outside the box when it comes and stuff. So I've always like Soul Angel and the Halle Street Dreams. I love that freaking album. And some of the other albums and stuff, but Soul Angel has always been like my favorite from Solange. I was like when she was giving like full on big band and stuff with that music. And then I heard recently, I saw an interview, excuse me, I think it was on Instagram. She said she wants to write an opera. I was like, okay. That's something totally left field and unexpected. I would definitely love to see the Solange do an opera. Look, Beyonce was in Carmen the Hip Opera. So if Beyonce can be in a hip opera, then Solange can write an actual opera, and it could be at oh my God, how did I forget? You could do it at Lincoln Center. I don't know how I forgot Lincoln Center. I'm always out there when it comes to like going to the theater and all that stuff. You could put it at Lincoln Center again, something like that, or something that grand. That would be great if she could get that done. But yeah, if you have the ability, you want to do an opera, do an opera. So they said the American songwriter and producer has long worked with Beyonce, as you know, and they're talking about The Dream, co-writing songs including Single Ladies and Break My Soul from her Grammy-winning Renaissance album. He also worked with Jay-Z on his 2013 track No Church in the Wild. Now, Blue, they said, quote, Blue is also writing material with help from Solange. The Dream has been spearheading it, and he has 2 or 3 records for her. They know the fans want to hear a Blue record. I was going to say, look, I don't even know what Blue sound like when she talk. So what does she sound like when she sing? They added she is only allowed to listen to age-appropriate songs from artists that has been listening to Infinity Song, Michelle Williams's Heart to Yours record, and I don't know how to say this name. Is it Gopel or Guapele? Goaple? I don't know how to say that name. And look, y'all be coming up with these little fancy schmancy names. I'm like, child, if I butcher it, I apologize. So now Blue Ivy's foray into solo stardom won't be her first shot at singing. The young teen whose fan base is known as and I love this is clever. So while Beyonce got the Beehive, Solange, well, Solange probably got the Soul Angels, I would guess. That'd be a riff off one of her albums. But Blue Ivy got the Ivy League. I was like, okay, that's perfect. That's genius, actually. So they said that had credits to her name long before reaching double digits. Now, dubbed as the most famous baby in the world by Time, just 10 days after her birth in January of 2012, her coos and cries featured on her dad's track Glory. The following year landed her a credit on her mom's single Blue from her self-titled album. Now, age 7, she sang on Homecoming, the live album, a collection of recordings from Beyonce's record-breaking Coachella 2018 set, performing her own rendition of him lift every voice and sing, and said, I want to do it again. I want to do it again. She says at the end of the track, it feels good. And do it again she did, Miss Garner. So look like Blue Ivy definitely wants to be up there, swinging them hips and things like her mother. But she's a little too young for that. You got to wait till you're about 18 before you start swinging anything. So in 2019, she became the youngest female artist to chart on the Hot 100 after featuring on her mom's single Brown Skin Girl, a title she later lost to her sister Rumi after she, getting the little hyperactive child, after she joined Beyonce on Protector last year. The credit also earned Blue a Grammy and a Guinness World Record for youngest individually credited person to receive one of the famous gold-plated songs. Soon followed a cascade of accolades, all before she had started secondary education, as well as a spot on her mom's record-breaking Renaissance World Tour, which saw her criticized for her moves. Now, in 2023, she finally showcased her singing live on stage in Dubai with a duet with her mom, who was making her return to the stage for the first time in 4 years. That one-hour set earned the pop superstar a reported $35 million. Now, as Blue Ivy could challenge and Blue Ivy could challenge, Jesus, I can't talk, her mother's fortune if she is able to shake the Nepo baby tag and deliver real talent. Well, here's the thing that irritates me with that, because I hate when people go, she could basically challenge her mother if she could shake the Nepo baby tag and deliver real talent. Now, here's the thing. The good thing about being a Nepo baby is the fact that it does open doors for you. So if you want to be a singer, if you want to be an actor, all other stuff, great. And there are Nepo babies who have proven that they actually have the talent to be able to surpass what their parents did. When you look at Jack Quaid, son of Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid, he's a good actor. So therefore, the Nepo baby is null and void on him. I would say the same thing with Dakota Johnson. She's a good actress. John David Washington, son of Pauletta and Denzel Washington, phenomenal actor. And he's considered a Nepo baby, but he's proven that he can act. Patrick Schwarzenegger's on his way up. I mean, quiet as it's kept, Arnold Schwarzenegger was never a good actor. He was a movie star, and he was an action star. But Patrick Schwarzenegger is showing that he actually has charisma, which Arnold had, but he can also actually act. So, some of these kids with the Nepo baby thing, I feel like people could be a little harsh on them. And yeah, they do. They get further than just like a regular person like me that was trying to get out my foot through the door. But at least they have the talent where it shows to back them up. And I do feel like Blue has shown, because she's grown literally in front of our very eyes, that she's getting like that on the job training. And she's someone who picks up stuff relatively quickly. And she'll be able to excel at whatever it is that she needs to do. So they said Blue Ivy could easily secure $1 million deals, lucrative brand partnerships, and significant earnings from streaming platforms and endorsements right from the start. This is what PR expert Stacey Jones, founder and CEO of Hollywood, branded. Think Olivia Rodrigo or Billie Eilish, but amplified due to her family background. Could she still become as big as Beyonce? Honestly, that's an extraordinary high bar. But if Blue Ivy delivers real talent, authenticity, and genuinely connects with fans, especially Gen Z, there's no reason she couldn't carve out her own substantial legacy. So there's that. I feel like there's a whole lot more. Let me say, look how this child looks so damn excited. But anyway, so they said, speaking of BBC last month, Beyonce's mother, Miss Tina, said Blue Ivy and her siblings were being nurtured to do anything that they want for themselves, but definitely not pushed into show business. And I will agree with that, because I feel like some people think that Blue Ivy's being pushed in the business, but it's clearly, when you look at her, this is something she wants to do. You can tell if a child's being forced to do something versus a kid who genuinely wants to actually be up in there. And I really think that she enjoys being on stage. She likes the roar of the crowd. She likes performing. She likes dancing. She likes the costume changes. She likes all that stuff. And I think she's in awe and in admiration of her mother. And what kid at that age doesn't look up to their parent and just be like, you know what, I want to be like you when you grow up. Now, when you become a teenager, that's different, because, you know, when it comes to teenagers, they hate every damn last one of their parents until they get through that puberty stage. But for the most part, Blue is a cute, good little girl who just likes being, entertaining us and being on stage. So yeah, they said the source basically said that Beyonce and Jay are very big on the kids receiving a formal education, but that they also see that Blue has talent and is hardworking. And when that kid is hardworking and has shown that, you know what, I'm proving to you that I've gotten better at the dancing and I want to be up there performing, which it seemed like, yeah, Beyonce's like, okay, well, I see you. This is something you want to do. I'm not going to hold you back, because her mother and her parents didn't do that to her when she was growing up. And Solange, they didn't hold them back. They basically encouraged the kids to get up there and do whatever it was they wanted. So that's great that you have those parents that encourage that out of you. It's like, I want to get there. I want to sing. I want to dance. Like, that's all I want to do. I don't want to hang out with my friends and go to the park and play and all that stuff. Like, I literally want to be out here. Like, that's what them old souls. There's a rarity. And you see why, this is why Beyonce is where she is, because she spent a lot of her life, if not most of it, focused on her career and getting herself to where she is today, which a lot more people had that work ethic. But that's how geniuses and icons and legends. Well, I should say legends. That's what how legends are made. So I feel like at the end of the day, with the two of the most powerful people in music protecting her from the vultures, they could definitely, Beyonce and Jay's influence and power and everything, they will put Blue with the right people if she wants to pursue the same career. So, girl, get them voice lessons going. Um, know how do the same things that your mother did, where you'll be able to get up there and dance and do all those acrobatics and craziness and stuff, and still hold your note, like Beyonce is able to do. I remember back in the day they said that Matthew had them running on a treadmill in heels while they would have to sing. So yeah, that's how you get your breath control up. So yeah, I want to definitely hear from y'all what y'all think of the story. Do you think that you could definitely see Blue Ivy being sort of like the Beyonce of, would it be Gen Z or would it be Gen Alpha? Because I feel like Gen Alpha is her generation. She's a little, I don't know, I think she might be too young to be a part of the Gen Z crowd. I mean, Gen Z probably listen to her music, but for the most part, I feel like Gen Z, Gen Alpha, she on the hybrid, she on the spectrum in regards to that. And she could sort of be the Beyonce of that generation. And you want to kind of keep accumulating that wealth and pass it down the torch. Apparently, I'm damn tongue-tied. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right. So, I was like, where am I? Oh, because I'm like, I don't remember what. Oh, I read that one. You said, I saw Celine via a scalper and you were able to get up because I don't know. Sometimes I'll be trusting them scalpers. I be feeling like that's not even a real ticket. So I be scared about. You said bought 15 minutes to showtime. Oh, okay. Let's talk about Love Tour. But that's good that you was like, oh, I bought it and it was about to start in 15 minutes. I want a new salon. Who you telling me to? Dilate your throat, dear, a key to vocal success. hmm Solange said she want to do a tuba album after Andre 3000 releases experimental flute album. Yeah, but I also heard that she said she want to do it. I was like, tuba? You a tuba album and then want to write an opera? Most progeny can't hold the candle to their parents. Not sure a mini me is a good idea. Um, which is why she's got to be able to carve out her own sound, which is one of the things I loved about differentiating Beyonce and Solange. So Beyonce being such the bigger superstar, Solange was able to kind of go off and be a little more artistically expressive with, her music. Like going more of a like a FKA Twigs type of vibe or whatever the case is. She could do more artistic, take more artistic risks. Where Beyonce could do that too, but it has to have some type of commercial edge to it, I guess. We'll see if Beehive will support Blue Ivy's debut single. They certainly didn't care. Okay. And the question is, where is Chloe and Halle? Because their careers is not popping right now. Which I always said together. I mean, I always said that they're better together than apart. Authenticity is important. We don't need a cookie cutter or mimic. Disney television show would have been a nice intro, but of course there was. Yeah, I don't like any of the Lion King remakes. I just thought they were unnecessary. I mean, Beyonce didn't go solo until. hmm According to the word on the street, Blue Ivy is Gen Alpha. Gen Z is in their late teens. Yeah, that's why I was like, y'all talking about Gen Z. Maybe they don't know what comes after Gen Z, so that's why they put it in there. It's about to be the 5-year anniversary of the Ungodly Hour. Jesus, I was obsessed with it during quarantine and listened to it now gives me lots of nostalgia. Well, Ungodly Hour, was that Sam Smith? Or was that In the Lonely Hour? Or is Ungodly Hour, isn't that Chloe and Halle? I'm getting my people confused today. Yeah, that's what I said. Isn't that Chloe and Halle? I'm thinking In the Lonely Hour. That's Sam Smith. But yeah. Um they need to figure out what the hell to do with them girls over there. That's what I think. But anyway. All right, y'all. So let's get to our final topic. And let's talk about the Libitical people. Because apparently they're saying 6 of the nation's leading social media platforms are failing to keep Libitical users safe from online bullying and harassment and quell the spread of disinformation, according to a new report from GLAAD, who y'all already know is an LGBTQ, because I've been saying Libitical so many times, the advocacy group. So yeah, they been out here putting out all the details. So yeah, there goes your 6 popular apps. Now, shout out to the advocate for this story. The report, now in its 5th year, delivers a sobering snapshot of an online environment increasingly hostile to LGBTQ expression, particularly for trans and non-binary people. GLAAD's scorecard, which evaluates 6 major platforms, that would be TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, and Twitter, found that every company received a failing score. TikTok was rated highest at just 56 out of 100. Twitter scored with the lowest at 30. Well, y'all shouldn't be surprised. It's freaking Elon Musk, where we have a president who's allowing Afrikaans, refugees, as in white Africans, to come to America. But we overcrowded. Y'all trying to get rid of migrants, but y'all want the white ones to come in. Okay. And then you got Kanye posting his Heil Hitler song and video all over Twitter, where I'm hearing is blowing up over there, while Spotify and these other places are struggling to keep pulling it down because somebody keep uploading it. And on YouTube. So they said, quote, at a time when a real-world violent harassment against LGBTQ plus people is on the rise, social media companies are profiting from the flames of anti-LGBTQ plus hate instead of ensuring the basic safety of LGBTQ plus users. Excuse me. This is what GLAAD president and CEO Sarah Kate Ellis said in the statement. These low scores should terrify anyone who cares about creating safer, more inclusive online spaces. The most alarming developments detailed in the report, including Meta's overhaul of its hateful conduct policy to permit users to categorize LGBTQ plus people as mentally ill, language GLAAD says echoes political and religious attacks aimed squarely at the trans community. YouTube, meanwhile, removed gender identity and expression from its list of protected characteristics under its hate speech policy, a quiet but significant policy change that leaves trans users vulnerable to targeted abuse. This is according to the report. Now, GLAAD's findings also spotlights a huge crisis. Platforms are failing to moderate anti-LGBTQ plus hate while simultaneously suppressing legitimate LGBTQ plus expression. The organization documented patterns of wrongful account removals, demonetization, shadow banning, and the mislabeling of Libitical content as explicit. Well, I do find that is ultimately annoying, because I do find like they do discriminate against queer content. I don't know, it's a little weird when it comes to YouTube, because sometimes I do feel like when I post certain videos, and like, how's it only getting 12 views or 10 views? So I do feel like they do sort of push that. I guess they would call that shadow banning in a way. Or depending on the subject matter, there will be demonetization, which I'm like, I don't understand how that is even required of demonetization. Excuse me. But if I post something about adult performers or drag race, I do notice my numbers go up significantly. So it depends, I guess, with the algorithms. But I do feel like that, yeah, there is a lot of there needs to be a way that that y'all can go against hating on marginalized communities. But I feel like they're doing this because of the current administration in the White House, where they thrive on negativity and hate. So they want to keep us divided and distracted, while our current president accepts a damn plane from Qatar and all kinds of other bribes, because you already know there's about to be a that they want something in return. That plane ain't free, sir. If you think it is, then you're an idiot. And especially when you have Pam Bondi and the other one, that brown dude that was working with Qatar as recent as last year, Cash Patel. Yeah, all the breadcrumbs leads to criminality, which is why these certain people that they have in the White House right now creating criminal activities. So all of that, I feel like this is all a distraction. So we have hate amongst each other in regards to this. Now, in Meta's case, the report notes that the company not only removed key protections, but also announced it would abandon its internal diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. These changes come amid broader political attacks on LGBTQ plus rights and mirror the growing influence of anti-LGBTQ plus discrimination across tech platforms. Now, GLAD's scorecard uses 14 indicators adapted from the respective ranking digital rights framework and evaluates public-facing policies on hate speech, transparency, privacy, advertising, and workforce diversity. According to GLAD, due to changes in methodology, the 2025 scores are not directly compatible to prior years, but the trend line is unmistakable. Platforms are rolling back protections while hate and harassment surge. The report also calls for urgent action, encouraging platforms to reinstate policies against misgendering and dead naming, clearly ban conversion therapy content, and increase transparency around moderation, and enforcement practices. GLAD also recommends public disclosure of voluntary LGBTQ plus employee demographics and an end to surveillance-based ad targeting and that exploits users' identities. Now, despite these systemic failures, the SMSI affirms the critical role social media plays in the lives of LGBTQ plus people, especially young people, people of color, and those living in hostile regions. These platforms remain spaces for connection, creativity, and survival. However, as GLAD makes clear, those spaces are only as safe as the policies that govern them, saying we need to hold the line. As tech companies are taking unprecedented leaps backwards, we remain firm in advocating for basic tech best practices that protect the safety of LGBTQ people in these platforms. This is what Senior Director of Social Media Safety for GLAD, Jenny Olson, said in a statement. This is not normal. Our communities deserve to live in a world that does not generate profit off of hate. And that's what it is now. It's like, that's the new grift. You know, the Trump Republicans are all about, you know, hate for profit. You know, the racism, the homophobia, the transphobia, all of that stuff. So I definitely understand. I mean, me personally, I use social media for media and I do interact with people online. And if I come across something, I will cuss you behind out and block you before you try to report me as hate speech. But there have been situations where people will post something online, and I've heard people say that I reported it as hate speech, and then they'll get a notice back. This is not considered hate speech, whatever the case is. But if I post a little something, they go, this goes against our community standards, blah blah blah, so on and so forth, and I'll be fighting it, and 9 times out of 10, it's put back up, and I get an apology. So the algorithm is the algorithm on algorithming on these platforms and stuff. And sometimes you got to fight it. But I totally understand. There are people out here who definitely use social media for community and grew up in the social media era and looking for like minded individuals. And they could just be up online posting stuff. And then somebody comes and goes in their DMs and they'll say like real hateful stuff. Like I've seen people who are on my timeline that will post hate speech from that they received from someone, calling them all sorts of names or sliding in their DMs and they taking the screenshots and posting it online, exposing them. So yeah, there's a lot of that. But I do agree that we have to put a stop to, you know, the fact that we don't want to live in a world that generates off of making money off of hating on a group of people. So yeah, there's that on that. So I definitely want to hear from you. What do you think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are on this story at hand, let me know in the comments down below. Ugh, allergies. People still, I have threads. I barely use it. I'll go on there every now and again and look at stuff, but I only last about 2 seconds on it and I'm back to my usual platforms, which is I do use Twitter for media purposes. I use Facebook, I use Instagram, and I use TikTok. And I also have Blue Sky, but I don't really use, and of course YouTube and things, but I don't use it. I just feel like Threads is just there. One of my friends convinced me to sign up for it and I did it. But then shortly after, I'm just like, it's useless. I've been reported for saying things that aren't nowhere near as bad as what some people have said to me. Exactly. That's why I do the trick. I cuss them out. Put a whole, I tell them go play in traffic. I tell them to unallow themselves. I say all kinds of evil, vulturous, mean-spirited stuff because I want them to feel that sting. Like maybe they'll do it. And then I'm like, oh, you're not going to come for me. And I'm going to scalp your behind because that's my defense mode. And then after all of that, I block him because it's like, what you're not going to do is try to report me. So you get it. I get the last word in. I block you. Because one man earlier tried to call me a baby killer. And that was because I was defending Palestinians online. Because there was something about celebrities had signed some petition about, there was a woman that had a movie that she did. I think it was a documentary that she did. She was in Gaza, and she had just found out that this movie was going, I believe, to Cannes Film Festival, which of course kicked off. Right after she had found out, they said that they dropped bombs where she was living, and then she died. So there was like a petition or something that celebrities signed, and then they go, where's the petition for the people that were kidnapped? So here we go with the Zionist bullshit. So I had to get on my little high horse, and I had to go in and start windmilling in the comments. I was like, okay, Zionist. And then he called me a baby killer, called me also, which sounded like that man that was down in Brooklyn that had said this to a woman when she had called him out on his Zionism. And then they was out there harassing some lady. There was like an army of Jews that was following this lady in Brooklyn, was throwing things at her and all kinds of stuff. They only gave her one cop where she was walking. It's just a mess. That there's people like who actually walk around acting like they're superior to others, and that other people deserve to die. Like, who are you? And this is how y'all think. Be careful the energy you put out in the world, because if you sitting there wishing, someone lose their life or the harshest thing to happen to them, the universe has a funny way of making that happen to you. And so I think they shadow banned your Nicole Page Brooks video because of copyright from the song in the background. Oh yeah. I did have an issue with that. I forgot that there was somebody that said there was music in the background in regards to them showing the same video. So I'm not taking any advice from the sissies that okay. It said everybody thought they would leave to go to an echo chamber, and somebody said Blue Sky censored the right, the left won't leave X because their friends are not going to other social medias. But don't you tell people to play it. Okay, I'll be telling them that all the time. I told a man this morning to go play in traffic. People are saying Twitch is dead, so get ready for the political right to go back to YouTube. They won't go to a smaller platform. Maybe they need to go to Rumble. But I guess because they don't want to have to start over. That's probably why they don't want to go over there. But we'll see. And look, if any of the incels come up on here with these stupid videos and stuff, I just block them. But I'm on Twitch now, live streaming this show. But anyway. All right, y'all. So we're at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, please do me a solid for that one final time. Hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new episode if there's any more interesting tea to be spilling. Today was a little like a slow news day, but we made it work. Especially talking about all that the Diddler mess. So I'll definitely, I'll be keeping track of this Cassie stuff as it develops because I think she's gonna be on the stand for the rest of the week, and we'll see how this all turns out. Oh yeah, and we also like what happened to Hassan Piker. So shout out to him, where he basically got detained, and they were questioning him about Donald Trump, and I said, child, that old orange bastard will go sit down somewhere. But anyway, love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. And you know the drill. Until next time, ciao, darlings.